Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
All right, we're going to start off the show a little differently. Luke's with us, which means he will absolutely take an antagonist approach to the show and find any way to get me, not discombobulated, but try to push some
riled
buttons.
Up.
Yeah. You know I'm a creature of habit, right?
Yes.
Nick, correct? Like I eat the same kind of foods every day. I wake up at a certain time. I do yada, 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 right?
Right.
Nick, you probably noticed there was 0 on the rundown at 6 a.m. Usually by 6 a.m. the show's done. Did you notice that or you didn't care? You didn't notice.
I did notice. I actually thought it was done when I got here.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I started at 6 a.m. I don't know what the heck happened to me. I fell asleep last night on my drive in from Houston, not while I was driving.
Okay, thank goodness.
Yeah.
You didn't pull an OB.
No, I don't do that yet. I've still got about 10 years for that. But I was probably asleep by like 8:30. I guess I forgot to put the alarm on. 6 a.m. I was just like, So no workout, no nothing, just straight working on the show. I mean, I have an idea of what I'm going to do the night before, but like nothing for Nick to do, right? It was just blank canvas. Anyway, it's because I went to the World Cup yesterday. And I already know your material's coming. Incredible experience. It was awesome. The worst part of it was the security to get in.
I'm sure.
It's not safe. Sorry, Houston, World Cup committee, everybody. It's not safe. There's thousands of people trying to get in, or at least where I was coming in, through like 3 little security entrances. Took about 38 minutes. I want them to be as safe as possible. So take as long as you need. But when I say like thousands of people funneled into like a little area and like people pushing their way through and they're all drunk and you know me, around drunk people, I'm ready to throw down. Like always, especially with my kids around. That part wasn't safe, but the atmosphere was incredible. And within 10 steps inside of the stadium, this gentleman walks by and Cruz goes, "Hey, Marlon." And Marlon goes, "Hey." And I was like, Marlon went to A&M Consolidated with him or something. I thought he was maybe like a young man.
That's an old friend, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "No, Dad, that's one of the biggest streamers in the world."
Yeah.
You know who he is?
Yeah, he's like, it's like Speed, and then like couple levels, and then Marlon's like, he's got like millions of followers.
Do you know who Marlon is, Nick? Do you know?
I can't say I do.
I've never heard of this
That's the problem is I'm too chronically online, unfortunately. I'm the target audience.
Well, I watched the whole special on people who live online. So when you start coming at me, I have stuff from a behavioral scientist that we can discuss.
Here
about
he goes.
I'm not going there yet. I'm just preemptive strike. If you come at me, I've got stuff for you.
Okay.
Good morning,
I'm not going
Luke.
to come at you. I'm just going to further the conversation and have you mentioned at all like how the actual game went from a Ronaldo perspective?
Couple things. We'll get into that. I saw 3 amazing goals. One of them was taken back. He was offsides. He was, but it was kind of bicycle kick-ish. Beautiful from Portugal. Both headers from Portugal and the Congo were amazing. They were great goals. Ronaldo did not have a good game. First half, didn't get the ball much. I'm sure you have your stats in front of you. Second half, he had 2 or 3 really not easy. He should have nailed them. He did not.
Right.
So they get a tie. That's a huge upset in World Cup standards. Not his best performance. This on the heels of Messi having 3 goals the day before. You know,
Harry Kane had 2 yesterday. Mbappe had 2. Haaland had 2.
Yeah.
You know, the big time players are showing up in big time moments, and
they are. You
know, Ronaldo will just have to wait for the game against Colombia to
potentially
really make his mark.
James, no, look. He didn't play well, and they played him. And our audience does not care about this. I know you just want to come at me because I'm supposed to represent Ronaldo in your eyes. I've given Messi his props. He should be the greatest. He has the World Cup. I've said that's the difference maker. I didn't go into the Champions Leagues and all the other things that Ronaldo has on his side, but Messi won a World Cup playing great. There's no doubt about it.
Agree.
So you have a response for me?
No, I didn't expect you to admit, I don't want to say defeat, but acceptance of like watching your GOAT, like realizing he's not the player that he once was.
And I don't think Messi is either.
That's fair. I just didn't expect you to.
I've said that though. Ronaldo's not the same player. We've lost everybody who watches the show. Everybody. He's not the same player as Michael Jordan on the Wizards. He has moments of he's 41 years old. He is not the player he was, no doubt. And I thought he played pretty well in the Saudi League, but did not look good yesterday. If you're going to let one game represent his career, then he is the worst player in the league. But I guarantee you, Kylian Mbappe and Haaland and all the people you said minus Messi wish they had a third of his success.
That's fair.
All right, let's talk some football, shall we?
The other kind of football.
The kind that we do on this show. All right, here's my question for the audience. What will it take for Texas A&M to outperform expectations? And then we're going to take it into two spots. Your own expectations, Luke, and mine, and national media expectations, right? Because I think those can be two different things. I'm going to use a word that Billy loves, or two words, geo-target things that maybe the national media would not because we know the team intimately, right? And then I believe that there is, like the national media, picks on one or two themes because you can't know everything about every team.
Right.
Marcel Reed and interceptions and big runs. Well, those are all part of expectations of what they have to fix this year. So if you look at, I don't know the name of these companies because I don't do gambling. This is your world. FanDuel, BetMGM, Covers.com, Price.
I'm sure the good folks at Prize Picks have a.
But they don't do. Do they do wins?
Yeah, you can do future bets on win totals.
Okay.
And I'm sure the number for a lot of these is the same.
Gaither, look up what Prize Picks, because they've been a good partner to us, what their win total is for A&M. But I looked at 3. All of them have A&M at 8.5.
Which is fair.
I think that is perfect.
Prize Picks also has them at 8.5.
Okay.
Because once you cross into that 9, right? We all talk about, I think, exceeding expectations for A&M is in the playoffs or being in that playoff conversation. That's a great season.
Yep.
We can admit that a 9-win season means you're probably a top 20 team. You're in the playoff discussion, and you're right there for 10 wins. I think that, to me, is a good to great season for Texas A&M. Last year was a great season. Obviously, the last 2 weeks did not go.
Why do we have to say it? We do. I say it.
Right. Because people forget how the last 2 weeks went. That it's similar to how I was viewing Ronaldo. Of one bad game now means that's the narrative for the entire career. 2 bad games and being 1 possession away against Miami does not take away 11 wins. That was still a great season, and it's unfortunate that college football fandom is so much of a "what have you done for me lately" that you can't appreciate 11 wins. You can only dwell on 2 losses.
People will look at the and by the way, you better be great at the end. That's how you define your legacy, your story, right? For whatever sport it is. So I totally recognize that. But people will take 2 weeks and hey, Ronaldo, same thing. They'll look at 2 weeks and they'll look at the entire season. Because you could say Arch last year at the end was fantastic. His last 2 games, he was great. You could also look at the 10 games before, and there were moments you're like, and then you're, they need to do more, right?
Right.
The offensive line. They were just in, we just talked about it on Tuesday, I think with Billy, the best position groups in the country. They played great down the stretch. But for a big chunk of that season, that offensive line was not one of the top offensive lines in the country.
Right.
So people look at the end, and they allow that to be the heaviest light you look at when you look at the team. Michael Early in baseball, same way. It was a really good season. The end wasn't good.
Right.
Softball, we get it. At the end of the day, you are judged with how much you win and when you win, when you win matters, right? So, for me, when we're talking about Texas A&M, for them to exceed my expectations, and my expectations today would be a 9-win team. Some of that is because of the road games.
Right.
Some of that is because of the unknowns. What are the unknowns? Offensive line? Defensive line?
Yeah.
Linebacker?
Pretty much everything defensively, but the secondary is where I feel great about the secondary.
And I feel great about the secondary as well. My only problem with the secondary is we haven't seen Ricky Gibson.
Fair.
We haven't seen enough of Julian Humphrey, right? But we know they've played at a high level before, so it makes it a little easier for me to believe that the defense.
There's less unknown heading into last year. The unknown was we know we have Will Lee. Let's see if Des Ricks takes a step up.
And
this year
step.
We have Des Ricks. Let's see if Julio Humphrey and what Ricky Gibson looks like.
And Dalton Brooks, we know he's going to take another step. And
Absolutely.
Marcus Radcliffe, like there are other dudes too. Tafik Bayer. I feel good, really good about the second. Feel really good about the second.
That's Cade's boy.
But we have an unknown at tight end. I think they're going to be better, but it's unknown, right? I think they're going to be better. And it's hard to say you're going to be better without Nate Borkacher, who was a second-round pick and had one of the biggest catches in not college football, A&M history.
Because I think how some people define better at tight end is what are they doing receptions and receiving. But the A&M tight end room last year, it wasn't really about that. It was about blocking.
Correct.
And that's why Nate Borkacher was a second-round pick. But this year, how does Holman Wiggins utilize tight ends? Is that more of a focal point of the offense? And when we look up and A&M's tight ends combined for twice as many yards as they did last year, will people say that's a success? Or is that more of a product of tight ends just being utilized more?
I don't think the running game is a question for me. The question is how good is the running game?
Right.
Like, you don't have Le'Veon Moss. You can't expect them to be as good. But by the way, they didn't have Le'Veon Moss for most of the season the last 2 years. So does Reuben Owens stay on his feet? That's a question. Because we've seen him be elite.
Yeah.
I think Jamario Morrow has proven in a short sample size that he is the next thing, right? Like, there's enough evidence there to feel like. So I don't have a lot of questions about the running game.
He's starting to feel like Devon Achane, where like you saw the flashes freshman year. Now you see if he can really put it together sophomore year.
So for A&M, for me, to exceed expectations, let's go with the obvious ones. Marcel has to take a step. And that step just means his floor needs to be higher.
Right.
That's it. I don't think his ceiling has to be higher. I'd like it to be higher. But Marcel at his best, second half, South Carolina, most of the LSU game. Marcel at his best is plenty great. That's why he was a Heisman contender.
Yep.
The reason he wasn't is the way he finished the Texas game, the way he finished the Miami game. Right?
Right.
Fair?
Very fair.
Okay, so that's a question. That's the obvious question. Offensive line has to be an obvious question, right?
Right.
Because we just don't know. I love the methodology that they did. Let's go get starters from the SEC on this roster, not guarantee them a spot because we got some guys, but now we have the depth and we have the experience. So if the young guys take time to transition to be the guys, we've got guys who've got experience. Oh, and if they get beat out, we got depth.
Right. Yeah, that's the question ultimately with the offensive line is they've obviously got young guys that they like. I mean, Robert Bordon has been playing the most since he got here for his class. And I feel like when you bring in a lot of starters from other SEC schools, it's like you go to HEB and get a lot of high-quality ingredients, but you still got to put them together.
Now you're speaking my language.
Right?
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Chef Nunez.
You still got to put them together, and you don't know how that's going to work out because some guys may fit differently in this scheme. Some guys may play better in this scheme. So it's all going to depend on how they come together, but the raw talent, when you just look at, hey, we got a starter from XYZ school, here's what we can turn them into. I like the potential the offensive line has, but it is a bunch of names that I've never seen in the maroon and white, so I don't have much to gauge on until we get to fall camp, until we get to weeks 1, 2, and 3, and we can truly say, is the offensive line better once they start hitting tougher competition?
One of the things that I enjoy, all right, so anytime a transfer leaves a program, that fan base finds every hole and skeleton that they can put, right?
Oh, he's not for us. He wasn't about the culture.
Oh, no, that offensive line. Okay, that's fine. We'll see. I think there was a reason a lot of people wanted him. Okay.
Right.
Sometimes I think it does take the right opportunity, right coaching staff. But what happens if this dude is exactly what Coach Elko and Coach Cushing had in mind? What if Tyree Adams is that dude and Cohen Eccles and all the guys that they brought in? Right.
I trust Coach Cushing to find the best in these guys. That's what I love about the portal is. There's a lot of negativity surrounding the portal, but this is an opportunity for players to reinvent themselves. I mean, not to bring this to basketball, not to dominate basketball talk, but I just had Zach Clements in here the other day. Nobody at Kansas was sad to see him go because he was a practice player, essentially. When he came to A&M, nobody really cared. He was able to reinvent himself and now become a key returner on one of the top half teams in the SEC, and he did that in a year. what will the narrative be on some of these offensive linemen that may not have been the most coveted pieces in some fan bases, may not have been sad to see them go? What if they reinvent themselves at A&M and become an all-SEC lineman? How will the narrative change on them then?
The other area of like, what will it take for A&M to exceed your expectations? I'm going to lump these two together. They're two different thoughts, but they should be the same. November games and close games.
Yep.
Okay? The SEC doesn't matter how good you are. They're full of games against bad teams that are close.
Yep.
Alabama had several last year that were close. Vandy had games that were close. A&M had games that were close, right? The Auburn game, even though I thought A&M dominated Auburn, was a close game in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Right? That's the South Carolina game. It was not a close game early, and A&M made it a close game and found a way to win. The Texas game had moments that were like, we're about to make this a game, right? At the end, and they did not. So to me, how do they do in close games? How do they do in November? The hardest part of the schedule for the 29th straight year is November, as it should be in the SEC.
Okay, I'm trying to find this stat. I don't think it's going to come up on my feed enough in time to give you the exact detail, but I believe Mike Elko has a top 5 winning percentage in the SEC in one-possession games since he got to the SEC. I need to find the specific stat.
You can do that at the break.
Yes, I'm trying to find it, but I know for a fact he is up there when it comes to A&M winning one-possession games.
The other thing I think, and we're going super long without telling people what show this is, they probably don't know.
This is TexAgs Live.
Do you think they know that?
I would hope they do.
They might think
when they see David's recognizable face, they better know it's TexAgs Live.
I don't know. I've missed a day or two in the last week. The other thing that I think that is very important, and I'm not wishing, I am wishing for the downfall of somebody, but somebody on that schedule isn't who we think they are, or has a moment in the schedule, and maybe it's because A&M knocks them out, isn't who we think they are. For instance, last year, going to Baton Rouge is always hard. We've discussed that. To us, it was a big win because they were a top 25 team, and we ended their season. I say we, I played on the team. But to me, if you are hoping for 10-plus wins, you got to think, all right, who is not who we think they are? Is it Alabama? Maybe it's Texas. I think Texas is elite. They spend a lot of money. They have a lot of talent. They deserve to be elite. But what happens if they get a couple early losses? What does that do for them? What happens if Oklahoma has a couple early losses? What happens if A&M has a couple early losses? Like it can a couple early losses, and then you get a little tighter. Some teams find a way to push through and win the rest of their games.
Yeah.
Well, with that schedule, for everybody now with the 9-game SEC schedule, who maybe takes a step back because of an early loss or two?
Yeah, that's I think the benefit of playing a game like Notre Dame early is you win it, you're in the driver's seat to make the playoff. You lose it, all right, you know you have work to do, and that can either cripple a team or it can get them to rally together. I like having some tough games early. Like I know Arizona State isn't a top caliber SEC opponent, but getting them early in the season, and then you also get, who knows what Kentucky's going to be. I think Kentucky's a fascinating game. You get LSU early. I like that the schedule is challenging early and you don't have cupcakes really to start the year.
By the way, Arizona State for a second. Cather, look up for me what the SEC did last year against other conferences overall. And you can look at bowl
Mississippi
season.
State had that thriller.
Yeah, they did.
Arizona State.
But this is a completely different Arizona State team.
Yes.
Completely different. And for many,
Jordan Tyson.
Right. For many people, they're like, oh, that means they're not going to be as good, right? And last year, they weren't that good anyway. Sam Leavitt was hurt, yada, yada. Okay. But they have one of the better portal classes in the country.
They've got a great head coach.
They got a great head coach who in year one, defied people did, what? What are they doing here, right?
Yeah,
so,
Scat Pack.
And that he was a huge reason that they were, but we didn't know who he was.
Right.
Right, when that season started. Do you have the record against?
So out of conference opponents in the 2025 college football season, I will say this is just from Google, the pop-up. It says that they had a 35-3 regular season mark, but struggling notably in the postseason with a 4-10 bowl record and 8-6 overall head-to-head losing record against the ACC.
Okay. What I'm saying is the SEC does not have a stranglehold over every other non-conference that they used to have, right? And part of that is because of NIL. Things are spread out a little bit more. That being said, A&M at home against anybody, I don't know, they should always be favored. We'll see what the teams are at the end of the year when they're taking on Tennessee, when they're taking on Texas at the end. But I would assume A&M should be heavy favorites. By heavy, what is that? I don't know. I don't do odds. You're an odds guy. 6.5?
8.5, 9 points. Anything in the SEC that's more than a touchdown, you're like, okay, that line's significant. What was it last year where the line was like crazy? Was a Mississippi State game? It was like 19.5, and people are like, what the heck? This is an SEC game. How can it be 19.5? And then, A&M proved why. It was 19.5.
All right, we went 20 minutes. We haven't completed like our intro. Yes, this is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. This is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. And I'm going to try an OB trick on Luke. Where are we sitting right now?
The Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
What? Is making money cool?
Making money is the coolest thing you can do, aside from going to a World Cup game.
By the way, if you want to be a part of the conversation, I might look at those texts. I might look at the phone calls. I might not. 979-693-1150. You call us up on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, or you can text us on that number, and we will look at those texts on the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line. We go around the room. We go left to right. We go behind the glass. We say hi to the Director of the Year, Nick Savage.
Howdy, y'all.
Hey.
I think y'all pretty much nailed everything that I think that A&M needs to do to outperform expectations. The most obvious one is Marcel Reed takes his step. And I like that conversation y'all just had about, it depends on when you catch some of these teams on the schedule. Like maybe LSU stumbles out of the gate. I don't know. How's South Carolina looking? How's Bama doing? So if you can catch a team at the right time, maybe a couple teams at the right time, you could be in line to win 10-plus games. But if you catch them at the wrong time, like you mentioned, David, you could drop a few that maybe you weren't expecting. So hopefully they can avoid that.
Yeah, absolutely. You weren't here yesterday, right? So you don't know how the show went.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Luke said it was amazing. Like they don't need me.
I didn't say that.
That's what your face said.
That's what everyone thinks.
Yeah. Huh. It's all right.
Hey, I fact-checked myself. Mike Elko has he's 6-3 in one possession games, which is at
A&M or overall?
At A&M, which is a 67% win percentage.
It would be
top 5 in the SEC among SEC head coaches.
Luke, I know you're supposed to be a cool, young, hip guy, but
right.
you've now been out of school how long?
1 month.
1 month, but like school. A year and a month?
I graduated in May.
I thought that was like your master's program.
Yeah, master's is school.
No, it's old man school.
It's school.
It's not 18-year-old school. It's like the transfer portal when you bring in a 30-year-old playing with the kids.
I'm failing to. I'm sorry. I'm having a tough time equating how doing additional schooling is now viewed as less than regular schooling.
Age-wise. Most people in your classes were 24 plus.
No, they were like 23, 24. And then there were a couple.
There were no 18-year-olds.
There were a couple old souls.
My point is,
you got to go to high school.
You're too old to do this.
I didn't do it. I looked over to the camera in case anybody in the audience wanted to do it.
You're too young to be doing this. This is
No, I didn't do it. I just said, of course, it would be 67.
Look, the facts and the numbers don't lie. The stats, men lie, women lie. The stats don't lie. I just crunched the numbers.
Who made that quote first?
Speed, I don't know.
Jay-Z. We go to Kayla Gaither at the Angry Elephant News, and so Sean Carter is what I call him.
Because you're on a first name basis.
Well, we were before the rumors.
Ronaldo Cristiano?
No, I don't know. Chris. Let's say Chris. That's what we call him, Chris. Kayla Gaither, I think you're at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
I'm here.
We're so late. Poor Kay Nagley is going to be pushed back.
Sorry, Kay.
Yeah, it's your fault, Luke. Go ahead, please.
So Trey and Schreiner texted
Trey.
him, and he said, in order to exceed expectations, we need 3 things to happen. Improved O-line play, linebackers must be dominant, and Marcel cuts down on turnovers and improves on reading defenses. I'm going to add one more to that and say that the secondary and the defense needs more than 3 interceptions.
Good point.
1,000%.
Good point.
Can I give another one?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just rebuilding the whole team for Coach Elko. I apologize. David Olano, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Ashton Murray, let's kick some field goals.
A&M was actually A&M and Notre Dame were the 2 worst power, if we're counting them as a power conference team, in terms of field goal kicking last year. And it ultimately was a field goal or a extra point that decided that game. But we know that field goal kicking completely changed A&M's season last year. No doubt about that. One more update from you, Kayla, and then we'll hit a break.
So 5-star 2027 linebacker prospect Caden Henderson is expected to announce his commitment live on the Pat McAfee Show today at 12:15 Central. He's between Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and LSU. And Jason Howell said yesterday that it's kind of been a tug of war with all three teams, so it'll be exciting to see who he commits to. It would be the second linebacker commit for 2027 along 3-star Ashton Whiteside and the first 5-star commit for that linebacker room.
I didn't hear what Bronny might have said about this yesterday. So it's basically tug and war. That's
yeah. I think there's probably a more accurate post from them this morning.
Okay. So check the boards. Is what you're telling me?
Check the boards. They'll have the info there.
All right. We'll check the boards. If you're listening, you won't find out unless you go to the boards. 1775. All right. So when you and Bronny did the show yesterday, did you guys go the night before or the day before to 1775?
He didn't do a single ad read. He actually put disservice on our lovely sponsors. He didn't do a single. He didn't bother to do a single one.
Just because I record them and make sure that they're satisfied.
Okay. We should have done something for the good folks at 1775.
When's the last time you went? Are you about to lie and say,
I think no. I went sometime in the spring semester after basketball season had ended, March, April.
Now that's what I think we need to do. You, Bucky, Warren, some of the guys go to 1775.
They do love barbecue.
What would you order for them?
Definitely the brisket. They've got the best brisket.
You better say succulent when you say brisket, young man.
I don't have to use the adjectives that you and OB in your demented minds have come up with to describe food. I don't like to mix food with the things that you would usually say about barbecue. So I'm just going to call it tasty brisket.
Pause. 1775txbbq.com, 979-492-6241. It is 1775. Hey everyone, David Nuno here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That is at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza. And, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Luke in for the low hour. The bar's been set pretty low hour.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that better than the DL hour.
The down low hour?
Yeah.
Was that my idea?
Yeah, you coined that proudly, loud and proudly.
Yeah, but because in my generation, it meant something different than your people talk about.
That's fair. I just think that, low hours probably
like,
better.
like you're undercover, you're deep undercover in like a sting operation.
Okay. We can. I mean, if that's how your generation views it, we can use it.
Yeah, well, we're not going to use it anymore because now you've given it a double meaning. Can you update us? I know you talked to Bronny. I didn't listen. I was busy World Cupping with my people, Marlon and CR7. So, where are we with A&M basketball? What's the latest? And just let me know everything.
Yeah,
I've got 30 seconds or less.
I've got a thread on the boards that's titled the off-season men's basketball thread.
Bryson Warren situation is on there?
Yeah. All the information you need. I'm answering questions. If you're like a real hoops junkie, any information you need, you can find there. The quick thing on Bryson Warren is there is no update. We won't know until literally the NCAA says, here's our decision. His case could be the first on the pile they reviewed today, or it could be all the way down the line, and we won't know until late July.
But you feel good about it, I think, if I remember correctly,
yes,
because the precedent's been set by other.
Yeah, the precedent has already been set of three, four guys from G League, didn't go to college, now want to come to college, and they're under 22 years old. They've already been granted eligibility. Not a single one has been turned down. One is also waiting for it, Dink Pate at Providence, but they feel good that he's going to get it, as do I feel good about Bryson Warren getting it because he never signed a professional contract, has kept whatever level of amateur ability we even still view college athletes as having.
Well, you say he never signed a professional contract?
Right. So, like, there's two-way contracts that you sign with, like, an organization. He never signed one. He was just signing the G League contract.
Which is a professional contract.
Technically, in the eyes of getting NCAA eligibility,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
The players that have been granted it before only signed that G League level contract.
So what you're saying, not an NBA contract?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Again, the rules on what you want to view as a professional have been totally thrown out the window. In my eyes, G League players are professionals, but they're not.
Just like the European players are professionals, but they're not.
Exactly. So, in the eyes of the NCAA, he's not a professional athlete because he never signed an NBA contract or went to the NBA. So, the precedent has been set that when players of that status in the G League want to come to college for the first time, they will get that eligibility for 1 to 2 years. If he never reclassified or went to the G League, he'd be entering his senior year, which is why I'm confident, why A&M is confident that he's going to get 1 year of eligibility.
Out of curiosity, just
right.
Next week, we might find out about the 5-5.
Right. I don't think they could implement that for this already established portal class all throughout college basketball.
Okay.
I think it'd be like, here's our ruling.
Moving forward.
And we're going to start it next year.
So no grandfathering. Like it'll start fresh.
There's no like Ryland Griffin 5-5. You can come back and play for A&M. I don't think they're going to be able to implement that. It would be mayhem if they tried to for this year.
What's Ryland Griffin doing?
He is... Well, he's actually been in College Station working out with the team. He is exploring his professional options. I know Rashawn Agee has been the more prominent. He's already had 5 NBA pre-draft workouts, but Ryland Griffin hasn't had any yet. I think he's probably going to get a shot at playing in the summer league, but I think for him, his route to playing professional basketball is probably going to start overseas, unless he has a crazy good summer league.
Luke, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk Rollo Insurance. When the unexpected happens, whether it's a car accident or property damage or business liability, preparation does matter. That's why you should reach out to the good folks at Rollo Insurance. They have you properly covered before that crisis does strike. Their independent agents provide consultation across all insurance types, and they give you the confidence that details are being handled correctly. They've got 60 offices in the great state of Texas, but their headquarters is right here in College Station on Highway 6. Rollo agents walk you through each step of the process, advocating on your behalf when you need the support the most. Don't wait until disaster strikes to discover those gaps in your coverage. Contact Rollo Insurance right now. Visit them at rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs. Or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO. We're back here on the KO hour. Wait, no, there's no Olin, so we can't do the KO hour.
KD.
The KD hour. No, Kevin Durant. I don't know. I'm not going to say the. I'm not going to switch the letters. Anyway, Kate Nagley is in studio here on the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. She is. You got a lot of titles.
I do.
Okay, let's go through them real quick. You are for the content team. What would you say you are?
I mean, my main responsibility is in the morning posting all the content that comes out of this show. So making David Nuno look spectacular every day is my most important role.
Sorry for having to do that. I know that's not going to be easy. You also cover all of our women's. You cover all sports. You cover football. You sit next to me during the games, right? You probably know the football version of me better than anybody.
For sure. I get all the reactions, all the highs, all the lows.
What's the difference between OB in a press box and David Nuno in a press box?
OB's actually more quiet than you would think, unless he has something to complain about.
Unless he's mad about it.
Yeah.
And he'll stand up, too. He'll go.
Start scratching his head. You ride the highs and lows of a game. OB is usually pretty calm unless it's going really bad.
He's a real reporter.
For sure.
I moonlighted as one. He's been one his whole career. I'm I can report on the news at minute 30, easy. 3 hours, you can't be just so. Anyway.
Yeah.
And you've got a cooler project you're working on. You want to let the audience know how we're going to be furthering our volleyball coverage?
Yeah, so this was kind of an idea that came to me just because obviously I covered the national title run, and I've covered the volleyball program since I've been here the last 4 years, and always been really fun to me. And obviously what Jamie Morrison and company are doing has been spectacular to watch. So wanted to take that and kind of run with it. Obviously we talk a lot of football in the fall, not a bad thing at all. But I did want volleyball to also have its own platform to kind of shine, especially coming off a national championship run. So we are going to start a separate show. It's going to be called The Set.
Wait.
So it's funny that you say this because I talked a lot about it a little bit yesterday, but Maya Mortensen committed at probably 11 p.m. On Tuesday. So we're it was literally, David wants the show to be called The Midnight Serve.
Right. Well, hold on. It's The Midnight Serve, right? Because you've got to, you could do a shirt with a logo.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
But I feel like we would have to have you in some kind of intro doing that.
I could do an intro. I could introduce you like a boxing match, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Nagley. Yes.
But it was funny that this girl, she committed at 11. We're it was literally The Midnight Serve. So
midnight
you were
yell,
kind of
midnight
onto
serve.
something.
I'm just telling you, I know things.
You do. Hopefully, I was not awake for the commitment, and I feel like I've grown up, and I was not awake. But we were joking about Nuno was kind of right. He was kind of on something. So.
Jamie, I know things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Jamie also loved your name.
Yeah.
He was cracking up about it.
Yeah. So if I do a spinoff, that's what it will be called.
Sure. Yeah.
When I have my Dutton Ranch, it'll be the Midnight Serve.
A spinoff. Yeah.
So yesterday, they got a big name.
They did. Yes. Maya Mortensen. She's from Corner Canyon.
Was it yesterday or the day before? Sorry.
So it was Tuesday night. At midnight. But yeah, Maya Mortensen, she was at A&M's camp on Friday, so I got to go and watch her. Obviously, I don't know where these girls are going to land, but I do know, top 20, top 30 players in the nation. You can kind of be like, okay, that's someone A&M's targeting. Got to check her out. She profiles as a middle, could also play opposite for A&M, especially just depending on what the roster looks like when she comes in. Can definitely be an impact player there. Corner Canyons produce a lot of great college athletes, so it's definitely a stout program. She also won a state title her sophomore year last year, so proven winner.
Don't we have somebody on this year's freshman class that won a state championship? Or 2 years ago? I feel like that's a theme, or they've had...
I want to say, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember off the top of my head, but definitely...
They have... let me rephrase it. Some people who have gone far in the playoffs.
For sure, yeah. And I feel like that's a little bit common whenever you have these really stout top 20, top 30 players, usually they're going to be in consideration. And the funny thing about volleyball, and this is pretty much the same with the basketball ranks, is, the high school play is secondary to what they do at the club level. So obviously, club takes priority. That's where they spend most of their time. That's kind of how the coaches get to know these girls a little bit well, go to some of their their games, matches. With soccer, all these college coaches come to the club.
They go to the club, yeah.
Yeah, they go to the club soccer matches. So it's a little bit different from that regard of, you're looking at the different clubs. But the great thing about having Jamie Morrison as your head coach is he has connections in that world entirely. And so does all of his assistant staff have all been with some kind of club rank at some point in their career. So really beneficial for A&M to have the experience and the connections there. And you see it kind of paying off with the addition of Maya Mortensen.
Well, his personality is infectious.
For sure.
You get in a room with him, you love him. Like that's going to always be the case. And he's got a proof of concept. Had they not won the national championship, you'd still see this program that's rising. Oh, by the way, they were the best, and they had the hardest road to win a national championship. So he can prove that he can take a team that was pretty good to great. And now this recruiting class, so they've got, is it one so far?
Just one officially in the books.
A recruiting class in volleyball does not have to be huge, right?
No.
It's 2, 3, 4 players kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think 3. They have 3 right now, and that may be the number that they stick with unless something changes, of course, and we're still waiting on those other 2. It feels like perfect timing with Mortensen coming in, and you have 2 middles on the roster that are younger players in that sophomore season, which could turn into, having 3 more years with the 5-and-5 rule if that gets passed. But it really seems like this is a good transition of, obviously, you just had great middles leave in Afena Kazapala and Morgan Perkins on their way out just because they're seniors. So you bring in these transfers who can get things done for you the next couple of years, and then you're bringing in this class that can be an impact right away.
Yeah. Talk to me about softball. Uh-oh.
No, nothing bad.
Yeah. How are they doing?
They're doing good. Again, I talked yesterday about the 2 commits that they have already in the boat, Maddie and Maddie. So there's going to be 3 Maddies on the team.
Great talk show, Maddie and Maddie.
Can't wait for OB to get a hold of that. Maddie Azua, Maddie McKee, and Maddie Sony is already on the team.
Right.
I expect her to have a big role next year. But yeah, they're still pursuing names in the portal. It's definitely become the wild. We know it. We talk about it all the time. It's the wild, wild west, right? It's some girls care about what A&M can offer you as a program. Some girls will look at the money side of things a little bit more. So it's really just what each girl wants. I definitely think A&M has a lot to offer as a program for sure. And they have the proof of concept of going through the SEC each year and being a really good team. It's the outlier. It's the postseason problem, right? And Trisha Ford will be the first to tell you they needed help in the circle. And I really like how they went and added Azua right away to attack that problem.
I probably didn't do enough of an intro for Kay. She's also hosting next week, Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
All right.
So lot of hats. Just wear a lot of hats here.
A bunch of hats here on TexAgs. Stick around for another segment. It'll be a short one because we always go long. All right. Heritage Films. Farm and ranching families think differently. They're not just working for today. They are building for generations to come. And that's why Heritage Films created their Farm and Ranch Films part of the website. They document timber operations in Washington. They do cattle ranches in Texas and agricultural legacies all across the United States. And these aren't simply documentaries for families, right? They are cinematic time capsules that captures your unique relationship with your family and your land. Whether you're thinking in 20-year cycles or 100-year cycles, they're going to preserve your family story for the future generations to come. Check out the website, yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, or call them up, 713-893-8341. That's 713-893-8341 is Heritage Films. Hey guys, David Nuno here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites, while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. kind of wanted to send this to Nick, but I ran out of time. Picture of me in the background of Marlon, whoever the hell Marlon is. Millions of people watch. Can you find that stream and see how many people watch that?
Yeah, we'll find it.
But then Kay says that I'm always awkwardly in the back of pictures. Like some predator. Thanks, Kay. What picture was I in last week?
It was at New Student Conference. Someone had posted something. Luke found it. I don't know where this picture is. I know I saw it last week, but I need to find it.
Do I have my RBF face on?
But it's kind of the same as that one. You're like looking back at the person. You're like, what are they doing? I was like, why are you always in the back of pictures?
Can I tell a quick story about yesterday?
Go for it.
So as I mentioned, the Sardines trying to get inside to the stadium, there's this one a-hole that like kind of pushed his way in front of Isla. So, did the dad hand on the shoulder, like, not here, bruh.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, oh, I didn't see it, whatever. And then we're walking in. He started getting interviewed from some international channel. In typical David Nuno fashion, I stopped behind the interview and go, this guy's an a-hole. And I kept on walking.
Okay, so we need to find that now, too.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
so we
Turkey.
have a lot of research to do.
And my wife was like, what are you doing? I was like, he cut in front of Isla. He's rude. He gets the Nunoism. He gets it.
I believe you did it.
So the stream from Marlon yesterday has over 800,000 views. So David Nuno's in the back of a really famous stream from yesterday when
there is no, I bet you if I were to ask, because our audience is typically, sorry guys, you're old. Not all of you. There's some young people. Hey, David, I think I saw you on Luke's show. No, Luke doesn't have a show. It's my show. Anyway, nobody in our audience knows who Marlon is.
I'm going to be honest. I had never heard of this person until today.
And I hope I never run into him again. He actually was very nice. I mean, it means anybody's nice.
Yeah. Hey, you were also on the airwaves in Redmond, Oregon yesterday. Did you see that?
How the heck did that happen? Yeah.
You're everywhere, Nuno.
TexAgs Live is big in Oregon.
For sure.
So, Coach Elko, I'm pushing the brand everywhere. This is on local TV.
This was, yeah. CJ Vogel put it out. All right, Billy Lucci, what strings did you pull to get this fella on the airwaves in Oregon?
I believe Space City Home Network is all over the place. Like if you have certain kind of cable tiers, you can get other markets. That's what I'm assuming it was.
Makes sense.
Shout out to the guy who set up that deal with Space City. That guy is brilliant.
Yeah. Putting David Nuno's face everywhere.
Everywhere. Just not on the show Cops, which is before your time. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back, Matt Barrie of ESPN joining the program. After that, Ed Hargett. That's right, he's going into the Southwest Conference Hall of Fame. We'll chit-chat with him about that. 10 o'clock hour, Matt Moscona talking LSU. And, unfortunately, or fortunately, the Fan Show guys. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Joining us now is the new host of SEC Nation, Matt Barrie. You've seen him on SportsCenter. You've seen him all over college football. Matt, thanks so much for joining TexAgs.
Absolutely, man. This is a great time because we're kind of in that area where you can just start getting excited for the upcoming season. You know, once you get through spring ball in the first part of the summer, everyone has a nice vacation, and now you can really start getting keyed up for the start of the year.
Well, Matt, one of the things, like for a talk show host, I do 15 hours a week, right? And like finding content this time of year can be difficult. But I feel like once the calendar gets to middle of June and we got SEC Media Days here a month away, these recyclable topics actually become a little bit more with substance.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I think what the one thing that the college football world has done well and the SEC has done so well, we just got out of the spring meetings out there in Destin a couple of weeks ago. There was a little bit of news coming out that not as much as there usually is, but the thing that's been done well and almost in an NFL model is that it's a year-round conversation now. Whereas college sports, I mean, in the South, there's like 5 college football seasons. There's the regular season, there's recruiting season, there's spring season, and everything in between. But I think we've done a good job of being able to talk about the sport a little bit more. I know the Brendan Sorsby situation that just got wrapped up last night kept the sport kind of in the cycle. But yeah, come June, you struggle a little bit. When I was in local TV coming up, every market that I worked in was a college football market. I was in Columbia when Steve Spurrier was the head coach at South Carolina. And it was right around this time of year. You're like, my God, what are we going to do until training camp starts? But either way, it's college football. We'll always find something.
Well, Matt, I think the whole Brendan Sorsby situation is amazing how I think the public perception or the PR that Texas Tech went through a couple weeks back with the whole Sark and Texas Tech thing, they were winning, right? You know, Joey McGuire was looking golden. And then the way they handled this, it's amazing to me that like so quickly the perception of a program can change.
Yeah, and that was kind of what was unfortunate with how everything went down. I mean, look, they said Brendan, and Brendan said he's got a gambling issue, and you've got to have sympathy for someone if they have an addiction to gambling. But the thing that you can't change is that the rule is the rule. Like you broke one of the unbreakable rules in sports, in any sport. You cannot gamble on the sport you play. It's just it's there. It's the first thing they tell players. It's the first thing they coach them on. And it happened. And when they fought so hard for it and got the injunction, I believe that they were waiting to see how big the backlash of it was going to be. And when it turned into what it was, candidly, I don't think Texas Tech wanted to put up with it. The university, that's different from the athletic department, as we all know. There's the university side and there's the athletic department side. And at the end of the day, the right decision was made. He needed to move on from Texas Tech because everybody was after them. And the Big 12 was going to throw its weight around. And at the end of the day, he's off to the NFL. Hopefully this will calm the waters for Texas Tech, because I think they've got a good team. Sorsby is one of the reasons why, but it's a shame that it had to get to this point.
Matt, I think you have an awesome role and a unique role. You just told me you came off the set from SportsCenter a few minutes ago. You do SportsCenter. You're now the face of SEC Nation. You do so much with college football on Saturdays anyway, already hosting the biggest show. So, like, take me through what a week looks like for you, and now with this new role, how it's going to kind of change.
Yeah, so last fall, the last few football seasons, I do SportsCenter. The last football season, I did the 2 p.m. Eastern SportsCenter and the 5 p.m. Eastern SportsCenter Monday and Tuesday. I would travel Wednesday to get in place to call Thursday night college football because I call Thursdays. I would do SportsCenter on campus Thursday at 2, then 5 p.m. from the sidelines leading into my game, do the game, travel back on Friday, and then be in studio all day on Saturday from about 11:30 a.m. until we got done with college football final at around 2:30 a.m. Eastern. And that would be the week. And I would do that every week. And so this year, not much is really going to change in the schedule other than you just adding a flight on Friday to go to the SEC site. We'll do the show on Saturday mornings. We'll probably stick around, do some half times, and we'll rinse and repeat for the better part of 4 months.
It does sounds like a lot of fun, especially for you, because I know you love college football. I want to kind of get to Texas A&M. Their national perspective, I think, has changed with Coach Elko. With Jimbo, there was a couple of years where you felt like it was in the right direction. It was going in the right direction. I think Coach Elko not only proved it in his year number 2, But it feels like regardless of what happens this year, they're moving in the right direction. What do you like about A&M this year? What do you like about them long term?
Here's what I'll say about Mike Elko. And this isn't a slight on any coach prior to him. This certainly isn't a slight on Jimbo Fisher, because I think Jimbo's proven that he is a successful head coach in college football. And I think another program would be smart to hire him. But I think a lot of the times an opportunity with a program meets the moment of the right person. And sometimes that right person isn't always this shiny sizzle toy name that like, oh, we got the biggest name on the market. Sometimes that works. And a lot of the time it works. What Mike Elko is, he's a damn good football coach, but he didn't have the shiny sizzle. He was all about the substance. And I think Texas A&M for years, they've always been one of those programs. I've said this forever, with the resources and the talent that Texas A&M is able to bring, there's no reason that they shouldn't have been in the conversation for the college football playoff every single year. When you look at everything this program has to offer. And so I get why people were frustrated, because to that end, Jimbo was falling short. And so what do? You bring in a former defensive coordinator at the school who did a damn good job at Duke. I called a number of Duke games on Thursday Night College Football when he was there. And it's like, this guy just gets football. He's just smart. He knows defense. He knows how to get guys going. He knows the game and loves the game. He's an in-the-trenches type coach. And I think that fits Texas A&M perfectly, because they needed a guy that was going to get, like, forget all the BS around it. Give me the resources, give me the talent in this area, and I'll coach football. And that's what he's done. And I firmly believe, and I believe year in and year out. Now, their schedule in November this year is hard. The 9 SEC, I mean, it's a brutal schedule, but I'm just telling you, the way that he recruits, the way that he's built this program, he's got the guys on offense coming back. Defensively, they're going to need to make some work, and things happen with some guys that left. But with him as the head coach at Texas A&M, it's going to be an annual conversation. Like, where will they rank in the SEC? And if you rank within the top 4 of that league, top 5 of that league, you're going to be in the conversation for a college football playoff berth. And I think that's what you have now with him, because the guy's just a football coach. Forget everything else. He's a football coach.
Matt, I want to get your perspective on Marcel Reed, because I think he is, look, we know the ceiling with him was extremely high last year. Unfortunately, the floor, at the end of the season, he was not at his best, but those are really good defenses. But I still think he's one of those guys that people forget about when they're talking about elite potential quarterbacks, a guy who was a Heisman contender by your company, ESPN, for most of the season.
Yeah.
What is it about Marcel that people just haven't completely bought in?
You know what it is? It's a good question, because when you see him, he's as electric as anyone in the country. I mean, he really is. But if you want, at least last year, and I'm one of those people, I don't jump too quickly on quarterbacks, because I truly believe it takes time to develop the comfort to be consistently great. Like Arch Manning start, and I know this is a Texas A&M show, and I know he's a Texas quarterback, but all the hype coming in on him, he didn't start great either. But towards the end of the season, you saw him pick it up. But we're going to need to see that from week 1 to week end from him. Same with Marcel. He has the ability to light up a game in an offense. But the perfect game for him, for me, to kind of answer your question with why I think people are like that, the South Carolina game last year, right?
Yeah.
South Carolina, the first half, you're like, what in the hell is going on? I mean, they looked clueless, but then the second half, they looked unstoppable. And I think that's kind of the frustration when you want to get to a player that you consider high-level elite. You need to see it week in and week out and not have such dramatic ebbs and flows. Now, having said that, Craver's back at the receiver. They've got a good running game. They've got everything they need offensively. They bring in the transfer from Alabama. The guys are there. Is he going to be one of those quarterbacks that week in and week out, we're not waiting for the mistake? How many times did we say that around a quarterback? And that's why Carson Beck changed people's minds about him towards the end of the year, because everyone was always waiting for a Carson Beck mistake. Well, he didn't make one. And they got into Miami to the national championship. And so I think that's where it is with Marcel. When he gets through that part of the schedule, and every week we're like, okay, clean game, great decision, mark it down. He'll be very much in a Heisman conversation much longer than he was last year.
Matt, a quick hot sports take here. And I know I'm not alone here. I think the SEC top to bottom is the best conference in college football when we're talking about top to bottom. But the Big Ten, not only do they have the hardware, their upper tier is at a different level. So I guess two-part question is, first off, how close is the SEC's upper tier to the Big Ten's? And do you buy what I'm saying? Like, I just think the grind in the SEC is different than the grind in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I caught a lot of flack a few weeks ago. I was on with my buddy Greg McElroy, and I said the exact same thing. I said, hey, look, like Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana's now the cream of the crop. We wouldn't have had that. I mean, they would have been in that bottom tier that we're talking about, top to bottom. But Indiana's the defending national champion. We don't know about Michigan yet. I think Kyle Whittingham will get him to that point. Penn State, Matt Campbell, he should get him back to Penn State. And then USC's kind of toiling out there. We don't know what they're going to be. But you're right. It's top heavy, and they've got 3 consecutive national championships. Now, could you argue that they're healthier and they get to the national championship because of the schedule where you're not grinding week in and week out like you are in the SEC? Prime example, who were notoriously have been the bottom feeders in the SEC? Vanderbilt. Well, look at Vanderbilt now. They're not an easy out anymore. I'm telling you, Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State is going to get that thing going. I believe because of the talent, Shane Beamer at South Carolina is not going to do what they did a year ago. Florida with John Sumrall. These are programs that are going to find their way back to the competitive balance, but that's still not an easy out. And I'm not going to name schools in the Big Ten and pick on them. I think people can figure it out on their own. But when you see one of those schools on your schedule and maybe get a couple of them back to back, you're like, well, yeah, late October, early November, I'd rather go to West Lafayette than have to go to Starkville or have to go to Nashville or have to go to the Swamp or have to go to Columbia. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. And I think you're right. It's the top to bottom that just changes the whole narrative. Because the Big Ten, look, if I'm a Big Ten guy, I'm like, screw you. I won three straight national championships. Well, yeah, you have. And it is the SEC's opportunity to rise up. Having said that, I mean, you look at the teams this year, you look at the teams last year. I mean, Georgia, Ole Miss. I mean, like, if you put each of those teams up against another team, what happens? So it's a grind, and I don't think anybody quite understands it. They get on ESPN for being pro SEC and all. Like, just look at the schedule. It speaks for itself.
Matt, one other point before I let you go is along those lines. I will give the Big Ten this: their coaches have all established themselves. The top tier have, right? And I think in the SEC you have coaches knocking on the door. Kirby is Kirby, right? And we know what it was with Nick Saban. Kalen DeBoer's been nice at both stops, but I still think they're knocking on that door of the next level, and I feel like the Big Ten coaches, at least the upper tier, have done a better job in at least the last 5-10 years.
I would agree. I think Kurt Cignetti changed the game for everybody because this dude took a ragtag bunch of guys from JMU and developed and scouted talent better than anyone in the country. You can't argue that because he did it. And so talent development is now a big thing in the portal era, whereas back in the day, you know, when Urban was having his run at Florida, he was just going to get every 5-star on the planet because no one else was going to. Nick Saban in his era at Alabama, you just knew what he was going to do. And so now that the talent's spread out, the biggest thing is how are you cultivating and developing? And that's why I come back full circle to Texas A&M. I just think Elko's good at it because he had to do it at Duke. And I think now you find that with the SEC talent and you win with that. I wish we can go on this for 2 hours. The differences between the skill level. I work with a lot of Big Ten people. They'll even tell you that, oh, well, they hadn't played anybody. Yeah, I get it. And so I do think the SEC knocks on the door this year. Not having them in the national championship the last 3 years has been weird. And I think it can spell out why, but I think this could be the year that ends.
Matt, I really appreciate the time, man. I hope to meet you in Tampa for SEC Media Days. Appreciate you making a few minutes for us.
Anytime. Let me know whenever you want me.
I appreciate that conversation with Matt Barrie here on TexAgs Live. When we come back on the program, we got some text messages to get into and a statement from the Big Ten and the SEC. Is this different than the statement from like a few days ago?
So this just came out on Twitter, so it is different than a couple of days ago,
Okay.
so I'll read it.
Okay, we'll get to that on the other side. Right now we're talking ground shuttle. So talking to Maddie here about going to SEC Media Days. If you are traveling from Houston, I don't know if you're going to SEC Media Days, you're not in the media, you're probably not going. But I'm using that as my example. And you don't want to deal with the hassle of traffic, and you don't want to deal with parking at George Bush Intercontinental Airport. You just do not want to deal with it. Use the good people at Ground Shuttle. So if you're traveling for whatever reason, your kids are going back home, it's vacation, it's a business trip, Ground Shuttle is going to get you there, right? They have 9 shuttle times every weekday, every hour and a half, and they have 5 shuttle times on the weekends every 2.5 hours. So they are excellent for business travelers and commuters. They're frequent and reliable. They'll get you right there, so you don't have to worry about the parking and the hassle that is Houston traffic. Ground Shuttle is a local company. Camilo runs the show, and he's fantastic. Check out the website, groundshuttle.com. That is groundshuttle.com. Call them up, 855-303-4415. It's Ground Shuttle. Let them do the driving.
All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas Maroon and Gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, "Hey, Dad, you look pretty good today." From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family.
Nick, you know this song?
Tribe Called Quest.
My guy, my brother. Can I kick it? It's all over the World Cup commercials.
Oh, fitting.
You know who Tribe Called Quest is or no?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Those are my guys. For reals.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, you don't care. Hey, I'm going to read you a dad joke that came in from Zeus. Okay. I don't think you guys are going to get it, but maybe you will. Okay. He goes, this is for the low hour. We were talking about the low hour. Okay. Someone broke into my garage last night and stole my limbo stick. I mean, how low can someone go?
I get that joke.
Okay.
How low can you go? Limbo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure you got it. All right.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's from Zeus, who is probably on a golf course right now listening to the program. We also got another text. Gaither, before you read the statement, you want to read the text that came in from a 979 number.
Yes, I got it. Okay, so it says, David and Luke, David from College Station. I've texted the show from Germany and Mexico last year. To get to at least 9 to 10 wins, 3 things on offense and defense A&M must do. Offense, number 1, let Reed run. Number 2, the O-line must be at least as good as last year. Number 3, cut MR interceptions in half. Marcel Reed. Defense, number 1, stop the run. Number 2, limit big plays. Number 3, stay healthy. 2 huge keys for the season. Number 1, win all home games.
This is a list of 50
number
things.
2, win all games in November. So basically
be perfect.
Basically, the team just has to be perfect for them to be successful.
Look, he's not wrong, right? Like he's not wrong. But let's go through these to get to at least a 9 out of 10 win. 3 things on offense and defense must do. Let Reed run. Here's where I am with Reed running. Yes, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Why would my no?
Let's just hear your no. I don't want to guess.
Okay.
I want to hear your no.
Nick, what do you think my no is?
He's going to get hurt.
I don't know. Don't say that out loud. I don't want the juju be. But yes, the risk of injury.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about the quarterback room in general? Not a lot of experience, right?
Mm-mm.
So but you can't play scared to win a national championship.
Right.
Right?
You
can't play scared to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree. I just think you got to be selective.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's selective running that you can do in a game, in a season. Like when there's one of the things that Arch did so well in that A&M Texas game was he ran when it was there.
I think it has to be situational. Don't settle for the run, but also know when to run. Yeah.
All right. The offensive line must be as good as last year. Well, I don't know if they have to be as good as last year. They need to be better than they were at the end of the year.
Yes.
They need to be good.
Yeah.
I think if they're good, they could. And last year they were really good, but they had a lot of years together. It was kind of a different offensive line group. All right, that's 2. 3, cut Marcel's interceptions in half. Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
I would love that.
Get them to 6. That'd be great, right? Yes. Okay. Defense, stop the run. I think they did. It's going to sound, because I know point number 2. They did a good job stopping the run until.
Yes, until, and then
they didn't. Yeah. There'd be a big play or 2 or 3. So you would take away those 2 or 3 big plays, which you can't. I know, and you won't. I get it. But they would stop the run consistently, and then there would be this mental break, a person in the wrong spot, the misfit, and then wow, you got a 75-yard run.
It's like one piece of the puzzle came off, and then everything kind of fell apart.
And let's see, what else do we have on here? Stop the run, limit the big plays, agree, stay healthy, yes. 2 huge keys for the season. Win all home games. Win all games. You're talking about a perfect season. If you win all your home games and all your November games, you better be 10-2.
Yeah.
Or better.
Or better.
All right, so give us a statement from the SEC, and they did a joint statement.
So it's the Big Ten and the SEC doing a joint statement about the Protect College Sports Act.
Okay.
So it's a little bit long, so just bear with me. It says, from the outset, we identified a set of essential revisions to the Protect College Sports Act necessary for the long-term sustainability of college athletics. We've worked with both majority and minority staff to advance those revisions, which focus on better supporting student athletes and stabilizing the college sports environment. We continue to believe revisions are needed to secure our support for the bill. Despite our sustained engagement and good faith efforts, these critical revisions have not been accepted. We are encouraged that several Commerce Committee members share our concerns and support these recommendations. We will continue working with stakeholders to ensure the Protect College Sports Act delivers meaningful protections for student athletes and lasting stability for college sports.
So the more I hear about this,
Mhm.
the more I think, is it possible? Like,
Yeah.
so here's what might happen. It might not be possible because it's happening in August, and I don't know if they can. If they don't get it passed in August, you're gonna have to wait another whole thing, and too much can happen.
Yeah.
But so they make the initial Protect College Sports Act.
Mhm.
The SEC and Big Ten have issues with it. Now they send in some revisions. Hopefully, those revisions are in place. They release their statement. What about the other schools? The other schools now say, wait.
Yeah.
But we want it to move this way. Or they're like, hey, the Big Ten and SEC are in. So that's my question to it is, how do the rest of the schools, the non-Power 2, right? There's a Power 4, but the Power 2, how do the rest, because look at it, it's not the Power 4 doing a joint statement. It's
the Big Ten
2.
and the SEC, the Big 2.
And maybe we should come up with the Powerful 2. Because Big 2 sounds like it's more Big Ten.
The Powerful 2.
Yeah.
The Power 2.
So that's going to be, I think, the question that happens from here. How do the rest of the schools look at it? And then I already know, like, yeah, when you got to get the House to vote on it, and there's some folks already that are not going to help out college sports at all for their own reasons. So I think that is also an interesting part of the conversation. Look, at the end of the day, I hate being the old guy that liked it the old way. But to you, okay, you've come up watching college football for the last 5 years. So as a child, right? Like this.
Yeah. I've seen college football in its state where it's been it's evolving. Like I grew up on college football when it's been evolving. Like, yes, I watched when I was younger, but since I've been in college, I mean, the new playoffs have been implemented. There's been so much change. So now it just feels normal. Like there should be a college football change. So
here's the weird part about it all. I think college football might be better than it was, but it might also be worse. Excuse me. That's a Nunoism. I get it, but these games are really intriguing. The playoffs are there's a lot about it that is great right now. Right? The cinema is fantastic. A&M's able to capitalize in this era.
There are really, really high highs, but there's also really, really low lows.
And I just want to, like, again, before you were born, people would vote on your national champion.
Yeah.
That's stupid. How stupid is that? But also, 20 years from now, people are like, you could just transfer as many times as you wanted, and you just get paid as much as the market says, because, some marketing company says you're worth that, but are they really paying for it? So, I don't know. Anyway, I understand that Ed Hargett is here, so we're going to go to that break so we can talk to the great Ed Hargett here on Tech, the Hall of Famer, the Aggie Hall of Famer, the Southwest Conference Hall of Famer, soon to be, and also Cotton Bowl Hall of Famer. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 and Caldwell online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. So your trade-in's got value, and you know that, right? When you go places, they'll give you the worth. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, find out what they're going to do, because they're ready to make some deals on your vehicle, because they want you to drive off in a great new vehicle. Caldwell Country Chevrolet is known for their great customer service, great trade-in value, and of course, that service that's going to follow you forever. Bring in what you got. Let their experienced sales team tell you exactly what it's worth, and make sure that with their combined years of service, they give you the exact deal that you're looking for. And that's what many people get when they go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryant, to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Now we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. So we got Ed Hargett in studio. He's going into the 2026 Southwest Conference Hall of Fame. And Mr. Hargett, I was on my way to the World Cup yesterday. Okay,
where?
In Houston to watch
Okay.
Portugal look terrible. And on my way there, the alert comes. I don't look at my phone. Richard Zane texts me, and he say, "Hey, Ed is going into the Southwest Conference Hall of Fame." I text you. Within minutes, you said, yes, we're doing the show. So thank you so much for coming in.
Great. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you.
Look forward to it.
Well, let's chit-chat a little bit. So tell me about when you found out, what you thought.
I found out a couple of months ago, and I was excited about it. It's just an honor for me, but it's an honor for teammates and coaches and everybody that was a part of it back in the day. I can barely remember, but sometimes it comes back better than others.
Well, if I remember correctly, you came in studio before you went into the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And that was something you wanted your family a part of.
Right.
And you've got your grandson in here as well,
Yeah.
who was at West Point. Where's he going now?
He's going to Southeast Louisiana.
All right.
He'll be back here in November, December to play basketball.
That's fantastic. That's great. But I know your family being a part of the road, especially for those who have only read about it or seen some clips about it. It's got to be great.
It is. It's fantastic. Glad they're able to be a part of it, and we're looking forward to the induction ceremony. It'll be August 4th in Waco at the Sports Hall of Fame. Used to be in Dallas, but I guess they've combined it and put it all in Waco now in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame.
When you think back at the old SWC, that's what I remember growing up watching. Like I loved it. What is something about the Southwest Conference that people seem to forget potentially?
Well, except for Arkansas, it was all in the state of Texas, so that made it unique. And it was just a great conference. Arkansas and Texas kind of dominated back in the time that I played, but that one year we were good enough to sneak in and win a conference championship and get to go to the Cotton Bowl.
Yet, to me, like I feel, and I don't know how you feel about this, if this change in college football continues to happen and there's like this super league, I'd love a Southwest Conference division to where we could kind of go back a little bit to what we used to have, because I love those don't get me wrong, I love the matchups with Alabama and if we ever get to play Georgia, but I do love that. But there's something about that era of college football.
Well, it is, and that was back before TV. You were on TV once a year. You got to, so that was all anybody ever got to see you, and it was, like I said, it was unique. Like they were all in Texas, and I'd like to see something like that too. That makes a lot of sense.
When you look back at your career, college-wise, what's maybe your proudest moment?
Well, I think winning the conference championship. As everybody knows now that knows anything about A&M football, we started out 0-4 that year and went and beat Texas Tech the last play of the game, and then wound up winning 6 in a row to win. They make, kind of off the subject here, but they make a big deal of double-digit wins. Well, if you play 12 games, you got a chance. You play 10, you got to be perfect to have a double-digit win, and that's what we played 10 games a year, and we won the last 6 and then got to go to the Cotton Bowl and beat Alabama. But I think just winning the conference overall was the highlight.
So when you're 0-4, what's the locker room like? And then when you roll off 6 straight, what's the locker room like?
Well, in our locker room, there wasn't much difference any time. Whether you're 0-1, 1-0, it didn't make much difference. The locker room was pretty much the same. But all the games except one, LSU, I think we lost to them 17-3, but it wasn't near that close. They really dominated us. But the other 3 games we could easily won if the quarterback had played a little better or somebody had done something. And so we knew that we could win, and we went out and luckily got the last play of the game against Texas Tech.
If TexAgs Live was a show back then, right? I feel like some of the storylines we talk about today are still relevant, or back then are still relevant today. We just did a segment on winning close games, and it sounds like from that season there were several close games and just hitting on all cylinders when it counts.
Well, it was all of ours were close games because we punted on 3rd down a couple of times, so we were not known as an offensive juggernaut. In fact, you look at our statistics, we had one game where we outgained the other team on offense, and that was about 2 yards. And but we were very defensive minded, and we had 40 turnovers. Our defense created 40 turnovers in the 11 games we played, so that made the big difference.
What made Coach Stallings?
He wanted to be Coach Bryant, and because that's all he'd ever known. He played for him, he coached under him, and I went and played an all-star game with Coach Bryant as the coach, and Steve O'Neill and I were playing, and we both laughed about it since then. That Coach Stallings, everything he did, before in a meeting, he would walk back and forth. He would jingle his keys and his change in his pocket. That's exactly what Coach Bryant did, and it was just weird. If I'd have closed my eyes, I wouldn't have known who was talking, So, but I think that was the thing that made him unique. He was a great defensive coach. I don't think I played or was with a team that had a better defensive coach that could scheme and stop people. Sometimes he stopped the wrong person, but you ask Mike Richardson from SMU. We helped him set a record rushing, but because we were going to stop Jerry Levias, we did. But that's beyond, that's just part of it.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting too when you have to follow a legend and all the scrutiny that you can get, and I'm sure he had to deal with that. And then he was able to carve his own amazing career.
Yes, he went on from here, and the thing that most people do recognize that it was tough to recruit at Texas A&M at that period of time. There was no women, first of all. Secondly, Vietnam was going on, so most everybody was in the Corps and headed that way. So it was not the ideal place to come and play football. But we did a pretty good job and had some players that went on and played in the pros and did well. But it was tough recruiting. But he went on and coached several years with the Cowboys, then St. Louis Cardinals in Pro Bowl, and then went back and won a national championship at Alabama.
When let's fast forward to today's college football, Coach Elko and the group he's put together. What do you think about his first 2 years?
Oh, I think he's been great. It's a different world, just completely. I do believe that some coaches have quit because of that.
Yep.
In fact, I think Kansas State's coach said that's the reason he retired last year. So
there's some people believe that Saban too, right?
Yeah, I think he would have handled it fine and done great, just like he did beforehand. But they had we won't go there. It's just so much different. But Coach Elko is so smart. I think he knows everything, where every piece has to be successful, and I think he's smart enough to do that.
Look, when people are coaching in this era or at the time, you kind of see the more good than the bad. One thing about Coach Elko, what I think why it fits is because he's no nonsense. He fits A&M, just his demeanor. He may not be a Texan. He's from New Jersey, right? But the way he goes about his business, it just seems like that's Texas A&M.
It is, and like you said, it's no nonsense. And I think once the NIL and the portal and all that, it still comes down to what you do with those kids out there, young men out there on the field. And I think he's a great technician. I think he knows, again, he's probably better on the defensive side of the ball than he is on the offensive side. And if you go back and look, most of the championships that are won are with guys that are better on the defensive side.
You threw a couple touchdowns in the Cotton Bowl. Talk about the air game back then and how it's evolved.
Our junior year, the year we won, we didn't throw the ball a whole lot. Like I said, our defense was very good. And they created the turnovers and kept us in all the ball games, and so we didn't throw a lot. Now, my senior year, we had to throw the ball a lot. In fact, we changed. We went to a little spread deal for that. We did away with our tight end and put a slot back because our biggest strength was our receivers. So we moved our tight end to tackle, and we threw the ball a lot my senior year. But my junior year, we didn't throw them enough. We just wanted to score enough that our defense could hold on and win it.
Yeah. What do you think was the best part of that team? Was it the defense?
It was by far the defense. We had Billy Hobbs was our middle linebacker, or inside linebacker. He had 7 interceptions himself. And then everybody says, what was the difference between the junior and senior? Well, Billy got hurt in spring training and fall camp. He played the whole year, but the passes he was intercepting as a junior were just out of his reach as a senior. And I think that was one of the big differences, that we weren't as successful our senior year as we were our junior.
Where do you want to see Marcel take his game?
I think he does an absolute great job of getting out and running when he needs to. I don't think he needs to overdo that, That's my opinion. Whatever they tell him to do is what he needs to do.
Yeah.
But when he needs to run, go ahead and do that because he's very, very good at it.
That's interesting. We talked about that earlier. Like, I don't want him running too much because I don't want to put himself in harm's way. But when it's there, take it.
Yes. It's always a lot easier to run 10 yards because you throw that ball, you may not throw it right where you want to, and the guy may not catch it like he's supposed to. But if you're running, you've got a better chance a lot of times. And a lot of times you throw the ball when you should have run, and I know he knows that. I knew that back in the day too. So
all these years later, how do your juices get for the Texas week?
All of them I get pretty high for all of them nowadays, but that is unique, getting back to play with them. So it's much higher that week than it is the rest of the year.
What's the plan for the Hall of Fame ceremony? When do you head up there?
It's just a day, a luncheon deal, and I think what they said is they introduce you, you have a little Q&A with I don't know who, and that's it. So.
Well, you're deserving of that and many, many more. We always appreciate you coming in, and I feel like this year we've talked more than we ever have. It's like 3 or 4 times.
Yep. It's been fun.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations again.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Congratulations to you as well. All right, we'll hit a break here. When we come back, open segment, check some text messages. Right now, if you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what sets them apart is the over 9 CFPs, the CFA, and the CPA all on staff. They take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Kayla Gaither, you want to give me a baseball update?
Yeah, so a lot of the comments
Let me
right
pause
now.
you for a second.
Oh, okay.
You've worked with me long enough now, right?
Yes, I have.
I am. All right, so Maddie's watching us do the show. She goes to OU, so she's probably very happy with her team and yada, yada. I get it. But I think you know this about me. I am not like, don't model your career after the way I do my sports intake. Because when my team is out, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right? When the Aggies lose in baseball, I keep up enough to be able to chit chat, but I don't care. I mean, as long as Texas loses and yeah, that's it. That's all the only thing I cared about. That's it. That's it. Right? So I know that Oklahoma keeps winning. I know that they were not good. I mean, let me rephrase that. Everybody in the SEC is good. They were not good in SEC standings. Obviously, they're a very good program, right?
Yes.
A&M played them, was it week 2 of the season, I think it was?
I believe it was the second series, that second SEC series. I could be wrong.
Or it might have been first SEC series, then it was Georgia. So regardless, those two teams, first series.
SEC
Thank you, Nick.
series,
Those two teams were A&M's first couple of opponents, played yesterday.
So Oklahoma and Georgia played yesterday. Oklahoma beat Georgia 11-4, which was very surprising because in the regular season, Oklahoma was 32-21 overall. They were 14-16 in the SEC, including getting swept by Texas, who they beat. Georgia beat Texas to play Oklahoma, and then Oklahoma beat Georgia. Georgia has been outstanding. I mean, home run leader. I don't have the stats in front of me, but they were just outstanding. If you watch Georgia, you know that they're going to hit 2 or 3 home runs at least in every game they play. But Oklahoma, just throughout the postseason, they beat Georgia Tech out of their home regional. They bludgeoned Kansas and the Jayhawks in their home regional. They beat Alabama once and Georgia twice to advance to the College World Series Champ Series. And now they're playing North Carolina. So it has just been a crazy time for OU fans. And this is from stormandnorman.com, so an OU. Stormandnorman.com,
What a
so
name.
an OU site. They said, aside from perhaps Troy, one of the only 2 teams with 30 or more losses to ever make it to the Men's College World Series, the Sooners are the most unlikely of the 8 teams that are in Omaha competing for a national championship based on their regular season resume. Now they're competing against North Carolina in the championship series. So it has just been a crazy time for the Men's College World Series. Another cool moment from the game, 2 brothers were playing against each other.
That was great, yeah.
So Colby Branch yesterday, who plays for Georgia, he had his last college at-bat as a senior. He ended up hitting a home run, making it 11-4 for Georgia. And on his way around the bases, his brother...
Shortstop, right?
His brother played second base.
Second base, okay.
So they got to celebrate together as he rounded the bases. His parents were seen crying in the stands.
Yeah.
Just a very emotional time, but what a run for Oklahoma.
As a dad, like there can't be anything more special. I'm sure like there are fans like, I can't believe he celebrated with his brother. Well, then you don't like your family. If you feel that way. If you don't like your family, I don't like you. Hey, unless your family's terrible, then by all means. That was special. That was beautiful. What else, Gaither?
Really just James Ellis in the chat is saying that R.C. Slocum was building a championship team here before
let him go?
crap. I'm not sure what crap he was talking about there, but
Where is it? Is he talking about when they hired Coach Fran? Is that what he's talking about?
possibly. I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying to figure out what they're talking about.
If that's what he's talking about, I remember I was wrong. In RC, I've said this many times. I was ready for them to move on from RC. I think that was 2002? I think it was. I was ready because I believed what I was reading, not on social media, there wasn't a thing, in the news that like RC was not doing that well in bowl games. I was just ready for the new generation. And Fran was like this guy that had taken Alabama and TCU places. Like, it was the worst decision. And look, I covered Fran for 2 seasons. It was great. Very nice to me. And, you know, I understood the hire at the time, right? I got it. But R.C. Slocum, I'm hoping that Coach Elko is that, right? R.C. did everything right? Like, if the only thing you look at is, did you win a national championship or not? Then no, but he did everything, right? He won the conference championship in '98. He recruited great. He had great defenses. That was an awesome era of Aggie athletics, right? And it was a mistake to move on from him. At the time, and I wasn't in the mind, but I think quickly we realized, dude, what did we do? And that guy was just class. He just stayed around. He was just, he's nothing but class.
I feel like a lot of people, when they think of A&M, the first thing they think of is R.C. Slocum. He's one of those people that, along with, I talked about it earlier, but Gavin Grahovac, there's a ton of, like, Johnny Manziel, but also R.C. Slocum is just so memorable for A&M fans because he did everything right.
Well, I've said this for a while, for myself, for Billy, for anybody who's in a position of leadership, right? If we can get a third of the love that RC gets 30 years later from his players, like when we have these players in studio, the way they talk about him as a man, as a father figure, as a leader, like if we can just get a third of that, we're doing it the right way. Because RC hit everything, right? Everything he did to me was personified with class and elegance and also tough-minded football. So anyway, we'll hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs Live, Matt Moscona getting an LSU preview. Are they as good as people say? Those people said a lot of things about them last year, too. We'll find out next on TexAgs Live. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Matt Moscona joins us. You can catch his work on After Further Review on ESPN Baton Rouge and other places. He's all over the place. And let's talk about this 2026 version of LSU with Lane Kiffin. Matt, what's up, buddy?
David, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm wonderful, man. Thanks for joining us. It's been too long. So I guess we'll start things off with, I don't know what to make of LSU. I think they're going to be good because I think they're going to be good every year, right? I think they got a great coach in Lane Kiffin. How good can they be in year one, in your opinion?
I think like most conversations, you got to start with quarterback, and there's a giant unknown there with LSU. Remember, all 3 scholarship quarterbacks that were on the roster a year ago are gone. Nussmeier's in the NFL, the other 2 transferred. So they brought in 3 new quarterbacks. And we did not see Sam Leavitt in spring. Now, depending on what recruiting service you look at, he was the best or one of the best transfers in the portal, right? I mean, he took Arizona State to the playoff a couple of years ago, so there's high expectation there, and he was a big ticket item in the portal. But he's coming off a Lisfranc injury, David, and you've had mixed reviews. I mean, Derrick Henry had a Lisfranc and still came back to be one of the best running backs in the NFL. Cam Newton had a Lisfranc, and for all intents and purposes, it ended his career. So we saw Leavitt a little bit moving around in spring. He recently, Lane Kiffin said he was up to 21 miles an hour on the GPS. There's a video of him dunking over the goalpost in the indoor facility. So he looks good. But, man, the key to this season is going to be Leavitt because like we saw a year ago, when Nussmeier wasn't right and they had to go to the backup, that ended up being a 7-6 football team. And so this team has a lot of talent. I think you're right in saying that. But if they're going to be a playoff team, which they can be, if Sam Leavitt's healthy, Leavitt's got to be healthy. We just haven't seen it yet. So that's the real giant question. If he's healthy, David, I think they could be a playoff team. If he's not, I think it's going to be really disappointing around here year one.
Matt, I just think of Lane Kiffin. There's some things I have issues with Lane Kiffin, right? And there's things I love about him. And I think he's great for college football. I think the whole way he left Ole Miss is a great talking point for whatever side you want to be on. But one thing is for sure, no matter who his quarterback is, they produce, right? So if Sam Leavitt is the Sam Leavitt we saw at Arizona State under Lane Kiffin, if Hassan Longstreet has to be that guy, do we expect quarterback to be an issue with Lane Kiffin calling the plays and teaching these guys how to be the best quarterback they can be?
Well, I think it's important to note also that, Kiffin and Charlie Weiss, there's a lot of collaboration. And actually, Weiss was the play caller at Ole Miss this past year. And that's the expectation that he'll call the plays at LSU. But you're right about the productivity. It doesn't matter if it was Matt Corral or Jackson Dart or, obviously this year with Trinidad Chambliss, or even go back to when Lane was at FAU or the teams he had, when he was offensive coordinator at Alabama. I mean, even back to his time at USC, the Matt Leinart era. Yes, you're right. Quarterback productivity has always followed. Now, David, this is a little odd, man. I don't know how Elko does it with you guys, but Lane gave us a ton of access during spring. The second half of spring, we got to watch full practices, like every minute of every practice the second half of spring. Scrimmages in Tiger Stadium, the whole deal. And man, there was one day we got to go watch a Saturday where a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium where the quarterbacks, Leavitt didn't play, but the quarterbacks combined for 5 interceptions and a lost fumble. I mean, I don't think that that's what would be the expectation every week, but against the schedule that LSU has to play, I think it's unrealistic to expect a green quarterback to be able to carry a team to the playoffs. It's why they went and made the investment they did in Sam Leavitt. So maybe I'm answering the question the same way, David, but it's to say, do I expect the quarterbacks to produce? Yes. Do I expect the offense to produce? Of course I do. It doesn't mean necessarily if you put up yards and stats, you're going to win. I mean, look, LSU had a Heisman Trophy winner on a team, and Jay Daniels, who had a transcendent year on a 3-loss team because they couldn't play like a defense. So I think there's a lot more that goes into it. Do I expect quarterbacks to have productivity? Yes, I do. Does it necessarily mean they're going to win games? Obviously, it doesn't.
I think it's interesting you mentioned the schedule because it doesn't matter what insider I talk to, or if I talk to myself, that 9th SEC game changes the way teams that you see 10-2 years past. Now you're thinking, are they 9-3 or are they maybe 8-4? Because that swing game changes it, or that 9th game changes it completely.
Yeah. So you know what else I'm fascinated by? is, so like when the NFL went to 17 games, I'm not trying to make an NFL analogy, but I think this might make sense. You know how like when it was a 16 game schedule, we all sort of had programmed to know, all right, well, if you're 10-6, you're probably going to make the playoffs. 9-7, you're a little bit of a swing. Well, they go to 17 games, and now it's like, okay, well, is the 10 wins or the 6 losses the more important? So like would 10-7 do it, or do you need to be 11-6? So I'm going to be curious about that now as well with the SEC going to the 9th game. Like, will the committee look at 9-3 maybe the way they did 10-2 prior? Because David, like I don't math. Like I'm a media guy. I don't do math. But what I know is that in adding a 9th game, they guaranteed half the league another loss. They've guaranteed half the teams in the SEC an extra loss. And you still have the Power 5 mandate, and LSU opens with Clemson. So, yeah, man, I mean, there's landmines everywhere. I mean, LSU goes to Auburn this year. A&M comes back to Baton Rouge, as you all know. You got to go to Ole Miss. Look at pull up LSU's November. It's Bama, Texas, at Tennessee, at Arkansas. Yeah. I mean, that is relentless. So will you be rewarded for playing that schedule? Only the committee can answer that, and I will be fascinated to see how that plays out come December.
Another thing about that schedule, it feels like A&M's like LSU's got 2 landmines early on. A&M's got maybe 1, right? I think A&M gets the benefit of getting LSU early in the season, but the fact that LSU has Ole Miss followed by A&M, like that can set you down a path, a great path, or a destructive path.
So the way that I've looked at, the way I've described LSU's schedule is they've got to navigate September, because I think October is manageable and November is a beast. So if LSU can navigate September, they're a big favorite at home against Clemson with the early spread. I mean, I've seen 11.5 on that number. I mean, LSU should be a big favorite at home in that game. The Ole Miss game on the road is a virtual pick 'em. I know the LSU staff feels good about their chances to go win that. We saw what happened with A&M coming to Baton Rouge last year. I think both teams are obviously dramatically different this year than they were a season ago. So we'll see how that goes. But if LSU can navigate September, October is manageable. So they will go into November with every goal in line. But to your point, if they drop those back-to-back games to Ole Miss and A&M and you have 2 losses in September, you've left yourself really no margin for error. And I just don't know how they find themselves in the playoffs. When you look at, a road trip to Auburn in late October, then the 4 games in November we mentioned, it's just hard to imagine you're going to go through that unscathed. So September is the key for LSU season. September will set up whatever they're playing for in November.
Matt, I don't think I've already asked you this, but just for conversation's sake, when people talk about A&M last season, they look at that LSU game and not give them the credit I believe that they deserve because, LSU was bad last year. And look, LSU was not the team that everybody expected, granted. But I do believe that game changed LSU the rest of the way. It may have changed A&M the rest of the way until November happened. How do you look at that point in history when you look at the LSU team? If there was a different result, not a blowout, a closer game, a win, does that change LSU's season?
You're saying if LSU wins that game?
Or it's not the blowout that it became?
Well, look, in the most literal sense, it did change the season because they fired Brian Kelly the next day. Mm-hmm. And once Brian Kelly was fired, I think Frank Wilson did a really good job as the interim trying to get guys motivated and play. But they also made the decision to shut down Nussmeier in November. And it was a season with tons of expectation that just went horribly wrong. And remember, they lost to Vanderbilt the week before. So at that point now, LSU is sitting there, with multiple conference losses, and for all intent, and they'd already lost to Ole Miss, so there were 3 conference losses. The playoff dream at that point was over. They fired Brian Kelly, and so they were really playing out the string. The most interesting thing about that game, as I think about it, David, is remember LSU led that game at half, mm-hmm. and I do wonder. It's one of those butterfly effect moments where. Like, what if LSU had played better in the second half, maybe matched their first half, won that game, which, I mean, A&M just steamrolled them in the second half. And it was an embarrassment. It was the thing that caused the instantaneous response from boosters to want to move on from Brian Kelly and all this stuff. But it would have been interesting to see how LSU might have approached the remainder of that season. Because they were in the game at Bama. They let one get away against Oklahoma late. And as you know, man, it's just, when things unravel and that ball starts rolling downhill, it can gain steam fast, and that's what happened to LSU, certainly.
What's it like covering Lane Kiffin?
I mean, from a content creator standpoint, he's a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, you kidding me? Like, David, everything I do with his name or face on it blows up. So it's like I have so many friends, your colleagues that cover Ole Miss, that I feel like I don't think they squeezed that orange enough to get all the juice out of it. Listen, I'm not naive. I know Lane Kiffin's past, and I'm assuming that it's something like he's not going to be the LSU coach for 15 years. Like, it's just his nature, right? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you told me in 5 years he's in the NFL. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But for every day that he's here, brother, I'm going to take advantage of him being the LSU coach, man, because it's just everywhere he goes, every time he opens his mouth, storylines follow. And now the results have to follow on the field. And he won 50 games over the last 5 years at Ole Miss, which is incredible. The only two schools that won that many games in the SEC over that period are Georgia and Alabama. So he's proven he can win at a program that didn't necessarily have the resources he'll have at LSU. So he's got to win. I mean, that part is the indisputable part. Like, if he doesn't win, he ain't going to be popular here. But he ain't lost a game yet, man. And every time he talks, it's interesting. So I'll take it.
What's it like behind the scenes? Something we don't know about Lane Kiffin. Again, I have a lot of respect for him as the coach. I think he's funny. I don't like certain antics, and that's what we need in college football. But what's it like behind the scenes?
Man, I wish I could tell you. See, this is the weird juxtaposition about Lane Kiffin, okay? He is so public on social media and, shares pictures at the coffee pot at 4 a.m. or hot yoga and all this sort of stuff, right? Privately, he is a very, he's a very private individual, doesn't really do any media. Dave, like, he's not done any interviews with local media except for his press conferences. And I think he's been described as sort of socially awkward. Mm-hmm. And I see it, actually. That's not a knock. I think everybody just has their way. But he's spoken openly about why he's so outward on social media. It's not that he's trying to be famous. It's mostly for recruiting, because coaches and player or family members of players and all feel like they know him, which is great. I mean, if that helps and that's something he wants to do, fine. Only to the point where it doesn't become a negative for the program as a whole, which it hasn't. But he's a really interesting man, because he's had so much notoriety from a young age. I mean, he became a head coach in the NFL at 32 years old. And that was in 2006, 2007 with the Raiders. So, I mean, he's been in all of our very real awareness for more than 2 decades now. And he's gone through a lot of life changes that he shares publicly on social, but isn't a very outgoing person privately. It's so fascinating. There was a fundraiser at LSU. It was a fundraiser for the Our Lady of the Lake, the health system. And they had it at LSU at the indoor facility. And I attended. It was just so interesting, because normally the head football coach is the guest of honor at that event, and will help with fundraising and auction items and things like that. And I think Lane had so much anxiety with that event in that room that I think he was maybe in the room for less, like 8 minutes. It was less than 10 minutes. He was brought in, kind of did his very polite wave, and then was very quickly whisked out. And I don't think it was a rude thing. I think I do think he has some social anxiety. So anyway, he's interesting. He's a brilliant man. Obviously, he's a great coach, but I think the real life personality doesn't match the social media personality, which probably throws a lot of people off when they hear that.
Matt, I do want to do one other Lane thing. And you saw when Schloss came back here to A&M and A&M baseball played against Texas, and how that environment got.
Yeah.
And we've seen Lane at Tennessee, right? So what do you think it's going to be like for the LSU football team when they go to Ole Miss early in the season?
A million times both of those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Schloss thing, I mean, everyone understands Texas A&M, what that rivalry is. And baseball matters a lot to those programs, but baseball, I think we'd all agree, it is different than when we're talking about football. And Ole Miss and LSU have a long like an old history. The weird thing, like David, I think you and I probably talked about this over the years, is LSU and A&M kind of became that Thanksgiving weekend game that replaced Texas before Texas came back in the league. Like LSU doesn't have a geographic rival, right? LSU doesn't have a Texas A&M, and Auburn, Alabama, and Ole Miss, Mississippi State. And so really it's just generational. So like if you ask my grandfather, he'd tell you Ole Miss is LSU's biggest rival. For my dad, it was Bear Bryant in the 70s. For me, like I love the Auburn game in the 90s, the LSU Auburn game. More recently it's been Alabama with Saban there. But Ole Miss folks have never really let go of the history of the LSU series. And I'm not saying that's not a rival. It is. But I think it's carried more weight historically for Ole Miss. And so for all that to say, Kiffin leaving Ole Miss is one thing. Kiffin leaving Ole Miss for LSU in the midst of a playoff run was just, it just added so much more fuel to that fire for the Ole Miss fans. And the most animus I've ever seen in a sporting event, David, is when Nick Saban came back to LSU for the first time in 2008. Like that was an emotional bloodletting. And Nick had gone to the NFL. And he didn't go to Alabama. He went to the NFL, but then came back. This is straight from Ole Miss to LSU. Man, it's I tell you, like I don't think I want to go. If that gives you any context, like I think Ole Miss people in Oxford are wonderful and it's a beautiful campus. But I think there's an element of every fan base that just probably takes things once. There's a guy who poisoned a tree in Alabama, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like I think if that element's out, I don't want to see what it looks like. So it's gonna be something, man. Something I don't think that any of us have ever seen before.
Matt, a couple things before I let you go. I'm going long, but this has been a fascinating conversation. Tell me an area. Tell me an area of LSU. Like we've talked about the quarterback position, but an area that you think will, beyond quarterback, define the season for LSU from a football standpoint.
The offensive line. It was objectively the worst unit on the team last year. They went and made a massive investment there. Jordan Seaton, the left tackle from Colorado. If you look at a lot of the way too early mock drafts, he's a top 10 type. He's that type. Y'all have had plenty of them at A&M. You know what they look like. They got Aluba from Maryland. He was a 2-year starter at right guard in the Big Ten. They brought back Braylon Moore at center, who was their best offensive lineman. So they made a big investment there. Look, David, they were the last 2 years that unit's been awful. And they have to improve. Lane Kiffin relies so heavily on the running game and protecting his quarterback. And if you can't do that, this offense doesn't go. So they got to be way better than they were last year.
And then last thing for you, when you look at A&M, there's a lot of questions. Same thing, offensive line. Got a couple guys from LSU. The defensive line is going to look different. Yet with Coach Elko, it feels different, maybe closer to what some of those other programs have been able to do throughout the years, that regardless of who's in there, they should be good. That schedule's a beast. When you look at A&M, what do you think?
I think LSU and A&M are really comparable this year. Be curious if Reed takes a step. I always look at it. It's weird because in a different era, I would have looked at all the players A&M lost from last year's playoff team and said, well, you're probably going to take a step back. But last year when we were at media days, and I always do this, I go into media days with certain theories. I'm curious what maybe is confirmed or disconfirmed. And one of my things last year was actually about Ole Miss. Do you know how many starters Ole Miss returned last year from their 24 team?
Was it like 60% of the roster? 2? That's it?
2. They returned 2 starters.
Wow.
They returned 2 starters from a team that put 9 guys into the draft. The 24 team was their most talented team of the modern era, and they went 9-3. They returned 2 starters. I was like, well, they're going to stink. They go to the semifinal. So I think just a giant part of it is you're going to bring in transfers every year. Do you hit on them? If you hit on your transfers, then you got a chance to be really good. LSU last year brought in the number 1 portal class. They missed on a lot of those guys and went 7-6. So I think Reed's a really good player when he's really good. I'm curious with all the defensive losses and the turnover on the offensive line, what that means for A&M. But if you hit in the portal, I think Elko's a great coach. And I always expect him to be good on defense. So, I think that's a team that'll be right there in the thick of it in November.
Matt, you're the best, buddy. I'll see you in a month.
My pleasure, man. See you there.
See you, man. Matt Moscona. Love having him on the show. Does a great show there in Baton Rouge. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. The fan show, guys. Sorry, guys. That's right. I think Royce is here. Roy is here. Maybe even Hunter's here. I'm not sure. Summer's here, which means Aggies are traveling and fun things are happening around the Aggie network. And if you're going somewhere fun this summer, if so, the Association of Former Students would love for you to share your adventures for potential use in an upcoming feature. Snap a photo of your Aggie ring in a fun way. Give a gig 'em or wave your Aggie flag wherever you go. Tag at Aggie Network on social media. Use the hashtag Aggies Everywhere or email your pictures to social@aggienetwork.com. One final piece of summer advice from the association. If you're going to the lake or the ocean, don't forget to keep your Aggie ring secure. Summertime usually means an increase in reports of lost Aggie rings, so be sure to take precautions when traveling with your Aggie ring. Have fun this summer, and don't forget to share your adventures with the association by targeting at Aggie Network on social media using the hashtag Aggies Everywhere or emailing your pictures to social@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. And I don't know if my mic's on. It's okay to boo here on TexAgs Live, especially when the fan show guys are here. But no Matt Browning, so we've upgraded the position. Royce Hickman in the house. Hello, sir.
Hello, good to be with you.
Thank you for coming in, sir.
My pleasure. Always good to be with you and these guys as well. Yeah, I know.
Hunter Shurtleff, hello.
Howdy. Good morning.
Roy May, what up?
What's going on?
Hey, buddy. All right, let's get into it. Kayla Gaither apparently has never done the fan show.
This is my first Thursday. I've never done the fan
So
show.
she didn't
before.
know she's supposed to ask the first question.
I did not know.
Well, now you know.
Now I know. I know exactly what to say. So, Roy May, what is on your mind?
Going
You
first
got
twice
picked.
in twice in
I
2
mean,
weeks.
poor Royce
In a row.
Hickman hasn't been here in a year, and you're like, nah, you go last, bro.
Maybe she meant to say,
though.
maybe she meant to say Royce.
Yeah, that's all right. You go first, Roy.
Honestly, what's on my mind is the World Cup. It's not just the football itself, but all of this social media stuff with all these Europeans coming over and discovering America and the Scots in Boston and all the Brits and what has been hilarious to me is all the Brits saying, give them everything that we see about America on social media and in the news. It's all wrong. They get over here and they're like, everybody's nice. The food is great. They have air conditioning.
Good food.
And of course they marvel at Buc-ee's, which is always the hilarious thing, right? But it's just, I think it's so special to see really kind of the world coming together. Yeah. And in this day and age of so much social media saturation, it being highlighted. It's not just them coming here, it's Americans getting to experience Europeans, and then the Scots and the Germans and the Norwegians and all this stuff. And it's such a special time. And obviously I love the football too. And I'm geared up for the match tomorrow. I'm excited. USA looked
amazing.
They looked
dude.
kind of shot out of a cannon. So
I'd say their last 2 games they've looked really good, maybe 3.
Yeah, they're trending in the right direction. So even though I've basically lost like 90% of the viewers,
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah,
I actually lost them in the first segment when I talked about it. So thanks, Hunter and Royce. Do you guys care at all? You're not soccer guys. Are you paying attention?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually coach soccer. When my kids were growing up, soccer was becoming big with the kids, but they didn't have any coaches that knew anything about it. So they sent me to school to
those
learn.
poor kids.
Yeah, and I really worked at everything, and I did this tremendous job, I thought, and I got my kids ready. I went into the first game, and other coach comes up and says, "Top of the morning to you, Lottie."
Oh, yeah.
I said, "Oh, my kids are going to get killed."
Did they get killed?
5-0 at halftime.
Oh, okay.
5-0 at the end of the game. No, he pulled all of his. No, and I went up and thanked him. He said, "Laddie, it would have done the game no good."
Oh, wow.
But anyway, no, I do enjoy soccer, and I really do watch, particularly USA, and I've watched some of the rest of the games.
You?
Yeah. Hey, I went to Argentina, Honduras.
That was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You did.
That was my first, I know it's not professional, but, growing up soccer match, yeah.
How was that experience for you?
I dug it. Very heavy Argentina crowd.
Yeah.
Very, yeah.
I mean, this is a couple weeks ago now, but
yeah.
But the scenery, I know you went, and so I saw that the way the intros are with the flags on the pitch, and all the players out there. It's been a spectacle to watch.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it is.
And one thing I should mention that probably you guys haven't. I've seen Pele in person play.
Is that right?
Right, up in Chicago back in the early 70s.
For the Cosmos?
Huh?
For the New York Cosmos?
No, he was playing I saw Santos.
Oh, well, you saw Santos?
Yes, I did.
Holy smokes.
I will tell you real quickly one interesting thing. We're watching the game, and these guys are good. I mean, Santos was really good in those days. And with about 3 to 5 minutes left in the game, all of a sudden this guy kicks the ball, and it goes way up in the stands. And I'm thinking, what the heck? And everybody's looking. Turn around and look. Pele's off the field.
Oh, he was upset.
No, it was their way of getting him off the field before the game ended.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's class right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, Shurtleff, what's on your mind? And tell me it's not soccer.
Well, first of all, top of mind, right? Because Matt Barrie was a guest on your show earlier.
Yeah.
So great get.
Thank you.
I like Matt Barrie. They did a good job if he's going to be the host for SEC Nation.
Yeah. Great.
I mean, a lot of males are probably a little sad that Laura Rutledge is not going to be.
She was a friend of TexAgs.
Like I tell my wife all the time, hey, don't worry, babe, she's married.
Yeah.
Good point.
No, but Matt Barrie's great. He loves the game. He knows the game. I love his the late night college football show. So that was an awesome interview. So thanks. But what was really on my mind is just still laughing and kind of evil giggling at Texas Tech here. They came out of this looking so bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
don't think it could have been worse if they intentionally tried.
But they just wouldn't shut up.
Yeah,
I mean, you got the
exactly
coach
right.
at the Houston Touchdown Club spouting off, and then he's saying, well, he didn't murder anybody.
Yeah.
And then the 22-minute, round table where they're all, just patting each other on the back and how great they are. They're going to rehab this kid. It wasn't about that. They looked horrible. And then that was just cool as a lawyer. We had talked about it, so I was trying to read the injunction original one, and it was just like this massive file, 500 pages for the Sorsby versus NCAA injunction. So I didn't get to that one, but I pulled the Big 12 petition the other day and read it, and they got one of the biggest law firms in the world and just laid the hammer. And by that afternoon, this thing was resolved.
Yeah.
So Tech really got put in their place.
Where did I see? It might have been Tim Brando. I don't know if it was. It probably wasn't actually. Now I say it out loud. That people get mad at lawyers involved with college football, but lawyers saved this situation.
Yes,
so there are both sides to the equation.
Yeah, that was fun though.
Yeah, we were wanting your commentary last week.
First of all,
another one?
I got you another Batmobile.
This is what, the second one?
The third, I
Third
thought.
one?
Yeah, but I don't know.
People steal them from me.
And
This is
I
awesome.
noticed your,
My Batman bracelet.
right.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah. And a shout out to Kyle McNeely, who's a good friend, but he's a diehard Aggie that watches and listens to the show all the time. And if there's an Aggie sport event, he's got season tickets.
Is that right? So I need to be friends with this guy.
Yeah. But I wanted to, and I'm glad I'm here today because for 15 years I was a track official for Pat Henry, and was surprised, as I think a lot of us were yesterday. But what a class act, and how fortunate we were to have him here. And I will tell you, from being around him, he's done, not only done a lot for every university or institution he's been to, he's won at all of those. And his athletes are quality people. They're not only good athletes, he recruited good people, having the chance to meet some of those young men and women. And so just a big thank you, Pat Henry, for all you've done for A&M. And I'm sad for us, but I'm happy for you, and I hope you, your lovely bride, enjoy retirement.
I feel like it kind of just dropped out of the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not close to him.
Yeah, no, I'll say this. First off, we're going to have him in studio tomorrow, right? Secondly, Billy tweeted this. I think we've said it on the show before. The most successful A&M coach ever, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's what he was able to do. And I know this season did not end the way they wanted it to, no doubt. Just won a national championship a year ago, right?
Yeah,
the guy was great his entire career.
Yeah. Well, they won 5 state championships in high school, and 2 national championships at Blinn, and 27 at LSU, 10 here. And I think I heard he's the only coach or the second coach that's won 10 national championships at 2 different institutions.
That's bonkers.
Guy's the best. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Football questions for the fan show, guys. We'll do that in about 2.5. It's TexAgs Live. Bam, timed it because I heard Nick talking. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Fan Show guys are here with us. We're going to go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Gaither, I've made you like the reporter of the segment. You got to start off with the top question. So you go ahead.
All right. So my question to you guys is, which returning football player do you expect to make the biggest jump this year?
Ooh, que pregunta.
Oh,
good question. Let's allow Hunter Shurtleff to go first.
That's hard.
Yeah.
The biggest jump.
I felt like I was elementary school. I was
Mario
like, don't call
Craver
me, don't
came
call
to mind. I mean, I know he was a star last year, so I don't know if.
How about ABR?
If he can make a jump. I wouldn't be my pick, but I'm
throwing
not
you
being
a
a hater. I'm just trying to figure it out. Man.
DJ Hicks? Oh, he wasn't a starter last year, so never mind.
Yeah, maybe, probably. If I had to go position, I'd probably pick one of the running backs, though.
Okay.
You know, somebody's gonna have to step up back there.
Yeah.
So,
Ruben, Jamarian, you got a guy?
No, I'm really.
She got us.
No. You know, I do think we've got somebody in the receiver corps is going to have to step up because we lost some talent there. But I think we need to have somebody also step up in the linebacker corps.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm having trouble picking a person.
I'm going to throw a name out and tell me if you like this one, Roy. Dalton Brooks. He was really good last year, but there were not a lot of interceptions from that group.
It'd be great for him to be the guy.
If Dalton Brooks just takes a step, I don't even think it has to be a huge step. I mean, could it be Des Ricks potentially?
Yep.
Now that Will Lee's gone, does he become like the top dog in that room? He's got some guys in there with him, so those are a couple names to consider.
Right.
You have someone?
Yeah, I initially thought ABR, but then Hunter poo-pooed on it. So
way to go, Hunter.
Thanks.
We'll go with it.
You know what? Because it's June, right? And we have all the optimism in the world. We're undefeated.
I know where he's
currently.
going. I know.
It's going to be Marcel Reed.
Bro.
If Marcel Reed takes that step, watch out.
Yeah, I thought about mentioning him too. It's just I don't know that he'd take the biggest step because I don't know that he needs to, but he does definitely have to step up.
But if he does.
What I keep saying about Marcel is I don't even know if he has to take a huge step.
He doesn't.
He just has to higher the floor. Did I phrase that
Raise
correctly?
the floor.
Raise the floor.
Right.
Thank you. I just learned English.
Yeah.
ESL. Raise the floor, because if he does that, because his high moments are incredible. It's those low moments that have, the first half against South Carolina, there were, I guess the LSU game, 95% of it was good, but he threw a couple of bad interceptions. All of Notre Dame, I think, was pretty good for him. We go back to the Texas game. We know how that ended. The Miami game, the last play. If he could just raise the floor, I think we're good.
Yeah. And since you said that, I said running backs and Morrow. I think Morrow is going to be my guy. Would be somebody I choose. Somebody's going to have to kind of be the guy back there.
It's one of those two, like Morrow or Owens, right?
Yeah.
To follow up that topic, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you mentioned it earlier on the show, but like the run defense, really good, and then when it wasn't, it was terrible. Right. I mean, that was another, when you're talking about raising the floor, I think that's another area we got to raise the floor. Because overall it was good, but boy, we had some big runs that just killed us.
Well, let's
bad times.
Let's go through the biggest question marks in 2026, because this has always been my philosophy as a talk show host. When you have a lot of ifs, more often than not, you're not going to hit on all your ifs, right? So let's go through the ifs, because that goes back to the original topic of the show. What will it take for A&M to outperform your expectations? The big ifs are, does Marcel cut his interceptions? Do they stop the big play, the big run?
Yeah.
Does the offensive line gel sooner? That's maybe the biggest question, right?
That's my biggest if.
Yeah.
Do they force turnovers? Something that they didn't get any interceptions last year, right? What else?
That's crazy.
Both lines of scrimmage, offensively and defensively, how do the new guys perform?
Right.
Because you win in the trenches.
Yep.
And that was a strength for A&M last year, and also a weakness in the games that they lost.
Yeah. Well, I think we have every reason to believe that the defensive line is, until proven otherwise. I have, not that I don't have any faith in the offensive line, but I have more faith in the defensive line.
Yeah.
Because, defensive line, a lot of it is just see ball, get ball, right? And so you just need to put some studs in there. Offensive line, there's just so much more that goes into them playing as a unified unit. All five, they've all got to be firing on. They all got to be on the same page. Defensive line, you just go kill somebody sometimes. I mean, sometimes that's the assignment. So I think that's why I think offensive line it's just more difficult for them to gel as opposed to the defensive line.
Yeah. For me, there's something I learned from Matt Moscona in the last segment, which I did not know a couple segments ago, was that Ole Miss only returned 2 starters from the year prior, and that was supposed to be their top team.
Yeah.
And they go to the semifinals. So maybe some of the conventional thinking we've done throughout the years does not apply in today's college football. He phrased it well. Do you hit in the portal? Because if you hit in the portal, it doesn't matter how many guys you have returning. Now, I like the idea of having a returning quarterback. I like the idea of having some returners on defense, right? But if you hit in the portal, LSU did not hit in the portal. A&M did hit in the portal. Ole Miss obviously hit in the portal. If you hit in the portal, then some of those questions aren't as big because, but again, when it comes to the offensive line, I just feel like it takes time to gel.
Yeah, but I think you got a coach over there for the offensive line now it's the track record's there. So yeah, some new faces, but I think we're okay there, and I'm good with the defensive line. I'm again with the coaching and the big bodies we have in there. I'm fine with that. I think we're gonna be all right.
I'm excited to see what we do with the new offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Armchair quarterbacking. There's some play calling last year that I didn't agree with.
A little head scratching.
But
which is the biggest one that comes to mind?
Huh?
Which is the biggest one that comes to mind? There was a couple on the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or running the same play 3 straight times when it doesn't work. It's kind of like we're going to run it till we get it right, which is okay in practice. But when you're playing in a game, if it isn't working, you better try something else. I think we had a tendency to stick with trying things that weren't working.
The South Carolina when you're down at the goal line late there, it was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I also, and a lot of people disagree with me, the Auburn game, the pass, the screen pass, if you remember, that they almost returned for a pick 6.
Oh, yes.
When it was at that point, what was it, 17-3, A&M was driving, right? It was 16-3, A&M was driving. They were at the 35-yard line. They throw that screen pass. It's basically a pick 6, almost.
Oh yeah.
And then they make it a game. Like to me, that goes on there. The South Carolina game.
Yeah.
The other thing, special teams, and I'm going to geo target. I'm going to hit the kickers because the kicking was so bad last year. If the SEC is going to have 3 or 4, all college football, but the SEC is going to have 3 or 4 games that come down to the final couple plays of a game. If you can't hit field goals, you can't hit extra points. Right. You're going to lose games you shouldn't.
Yep.
On the flip side of that, it's a nice pickup at the punting position.
Yeah.
We are kind of punter you.
Yeah.
Aussie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side bottom?
Side bottom. Quality name. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, we're going to finish out the fan show here on TexAgs Live. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. 0 sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. Final segment of the Fan Show here on TexAgs Live. Let's go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Can you ask a question, Kayla, that doesn't make us like really struggle? Like, give us like an easy one.
She's tough.
Yeah.
I am a little tough, but I do want to say this regards tennis, like we were talking about just on the break. So, Luciana Perez was named the ITA National Player of the Year after a historic season and finishing undefeated in singles play. And of course, Mark Weaver was named National Coach of the Year, earning his first ITA National Coach of the Year honor following his second national title and fifth consecutive SEC regular season title. So, my question to you guys, will we see another national championship run from Mark Weaver, and how good is this how good is this tennis team going to be next year?
That I don't know. We'd have to get Coach Weaver on here, but I do know this. Folks who follow the program closely thought this team was close this year, but maybe not national championship. Maybe like Jamie's volleyball team, right? Like they can, but things have to come out a certain way. So if that's supposed to be a down year for both of them, when I say down, you understand what I mean. Not a down year, but not
projected to win the national championship.
I don't know if people were projecting A&M to win it, and which is weird because of course they should be projected to win it. They've won 2 out of the last 3. They've gone to the championship match with 4 straight years. So I think he's got another couple of championships in his tool belt here soon.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. That's a yes.
Yeah.
Same thing I would say about Jamie too.
Yeah.
Well, and there was, was it yesterday tennis picked up another big time recruit out of England? I mean, it turns into a machine. It reminds you of Alabama in the sense that once you have the momentum, everybody wants to come play for you. And you can really pick and choose the recruits you're gonna pull.
That was exactly the point I was going to make. That Jamie's probably having a lot easier year recruiting wise.
We might have the #1 recruiting class.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like that's what winning a national championship can
do. That's one thing I was going to talk about. Overall, across the board, I don't remember a year where recruiting has gone as well across all the sports.
So great. And think about it for a second, guys. We're talking about coaches, right? We just honored Pat Henry. But if you look across the board, the coaches that A&M has right now, I think we feel great about Bucky. We feel great about Elko.
Right.
Obviously, Weaver, Morrison, Pat Henry. There's so many guys. Trisha, I know the postseason didn't work out. We love Trisha, and that program's going to win big. You look across, we've got some... Is this one of the best collection of coaches we've had at the same time, like in all of our eras of A&M?
It's my opinion it is.
Yeah.
Because we've had, in a couple of sports, a really good coach, and then the rest of them were good.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've had a couple of great ones, and then everybody else good. We got a lot of great coaches right now, and a lot of very, very good coaches as well.
Yeah. And racking up the trophies to prove it.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people fans, right? We take every loss so serious, you don't look at the big picture of the program. And if you go back to 2012 in SEC and how A&M has done and the SEC championships and the tournaments and the now national championships, it's really impressive, especially when you look at all the other teams. I mean, Florida's going to be up there on numbers, but A&M is all sports, very, very competitive.
Yeah, like I said before, it feels
we should toot our own horn more.
Yeah, it feels like the golden area of Aggie athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it depends on what tribe you belong to.
Yeah.
The tribe that just wants to complain no matter what.
Yes.
God, we suck last year. We went 11-2, but our last 2 and by the way, it did suck. I don't think any of us think it was. I'm not trying to be optimistic, man. The season ended poorly. Still went 11-2 in an SEC schedule.
For the first time.
Yeah.
You go to Baton Rouge and beat them down. Yeah. We got to beat Texas. We get it. We got to win our first playoff game, especially at Kyle Field. You got to score touchdowns at home. Agree on all. But you can still take a step back and say, how much fun... I did this show when we went 5-7. That show sucked.
Not fun.
No. People were mean to me. It was my fault. That show was not fun.
Yeah. My 4 years at A&M, we won 10 games total.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What year are you?
People, quit complaining.
Our best season was 4-6.
What year are you?
I graduated in 64.
My dad's 66. They won 9. They won 4, 3, 2, and 1. He graduates and they win the Southwest Conference.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, back when they were kissing dates on first downs.
Coach Fulberg, yeah.
That's right. We were kissing on first downs, and it got to the point where we were kissing if we made them punt.
During your era at A&M, my era, those are pretty good years.
Yeah, I didn't see any. I mean, you just didn't lose at Kyle Field. Yeah.
Yeah. How many in a row was it at one point? 60. How many games did they win in a row?
50 something.
50 something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
If you went to Kyle Field, you had You had almost 100% chance of seeing a win.
Yeah. Roy had a pretty good era too.
Wasn't too shabby.
Yeah. You know that he was there during the Johnny days. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I got Johnny. I got going into the SEC. You know, opening up the SEC network, South Carolina, like a week before classes started. So we just went to Columbia and partied. It was
you
great.
partied, really? That's not like
a little bit. Well, so I'd been there before because U.S. Army recruiting school is right there at Fort Jackson. So I was familiar with the Columbia area.
Okay, all right.
Roy's like, follow me.
Yeah, we're going to 5 points, boys.
Gentlemen, next week, whoever does the fan show is going to have Kaylee and Kay. So you're going to be safe because that'll be a good show. Because I'm on vacation next week. I'm going to Florida for the week. So
nice.
Don't come to my house because I have people staying there.
Did our invitation to go with you get lost in the mail?
No, I was actually going to do a surprise after the show, but you ruined the surprise. So now
it's going to be the Florida vacationer. This media days.
Oh, dude!
Yeah.
I told Billy he should just leave me there, pay for the hotel for the whole month. That'd be great. That'd be,
I think it's appropriate. Kind of a bonus.
If you can zoom in guests, you can zoom in David. Come on.
Yeah.
Bonus, put up with us. See?
Let's not forget, I've done this show from a hotel room in Seattle during the College World Series. I'm that committed to the show or that stupid for not going to Omaha. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. We'll see you next time on TexAgs Live.